A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
And now, Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and what it means to be the wife of a famous star. While Larry Noble is waiting in the New York City jail for his trial for the murder of young Oliver Wilson, Rupert Barlow, wealthy man about town, is making desperate efforts to create a rift between Larry and Mary, so that Mary will at last turn to him and respond to his romantic inclinations. And from all appearances, Rupert is successful, at least in creating trouble between the Nobles. Right now we find Mary in the small West Side hotel where she is staying at the present, talking to Rupert in a corner of the palm-studded lobby. We hear her say,
"I wish you hadn't insisted on coming here again, Rupert. When I didn't call back in answer to your message, you must have known there was nothing to say."
But I had to see you, Mary, to learn if there isn't some way we can straighten out the disgraceful business about those pictures that appeared in the paper.
The harm is done, Rupert.
I suppose that Larry is very angry.
He's furious. He wouldn't even see me when I went to the jail to visit him.
How typical. Without even giving you a chance to explain.
How could I explain it if he had seen me? How can I explain how it happened that you and I were followed about town so carefully that pictures were taken of us on 2 occasions when we met by accident? Do you know of any logical explanation for that?
I'll admit it's fantastic, Mary. I was absolutely stunned when I saw those pictures in Marty Rufus' gossip column.
Larry believes that I've deliberately deceived him after I promised him not to see you again.
But, my dear Mary, surely you don't think I had anything to do with this unfortunate incident?
I don't know what to think anymore, Rupert. I don't see why anyone would want to hurt Larry, especially while he's in jail awaiting his trial.
Forget about Larry, my dear. It's you I'm concerned about. Surely you must know that I wouldn't hurt you for the world. Didn't I accept your decision about not seeing me anymore without argument? Even though it hurt me deeply.
Yes, Rupert, you said that. But we did meet again.
Well, hang it all, Mary. Do you want me to pack up and leave New York entirely? Would that satisfy your unreasonably jealous husband?
Well, how do you expect him to behave when he sees these pictures in the papers of us time and again? How does it happen that every time we meet, there's a cameraman present? Who is responsible for this?
Well, I should imagine your husband could answer that better than anyone else, Mary.
What do you mean?
Well, Mary, don't you think it's likely that he's arranged to have you watched? Because he doesn't trust you? Because he wants to believe the worst?
No. Larry would never do a thing like that, Rupert. That's a wretched thing to say about him. He's already having more than his share of trouble.
I only suggested that his attitude is unreasonable, Mary.
Do you think anything about his trial is reasonable? Do you think it's reasonable that he should be arrested for the murder of Oliver Wilson? And he was only one of many people backstage at the theater the night Oliver's body was found?
But, my dear, not that I like to bring the subject up. There was considerable talk of Larry's romantic interest in Claudia Vincent. And when he found that she had secretly married this young bounder, Oliver Wilson...
Why isn't it just as reasonable to suppose Claudia killed Oliver Wilson when she found out he was nothing but a penniless fortune hunter? Why couldn't your own housekeeper, Julia Dixon, have done it when she found Oliver was only using her?
All right, Mary. I won't argue.
Larry will certainly prove his innocence. They can't convict him, Rupert.
I sincerely hope you're right, Mary. But I must point out that Larry's behavior since his arrest is doing nothing to help his case. When he turned down Clarence Brewster, the most brilliant trial lawyer in the East, he made a tactical blunder.
You know why Larry did that, Rupert. Because he didn't want you to pay Mr. Brewster's fee.
Why? Do you call that being reasonable?
Larry has heard too many rumors about us, Rupert. How can you blame Larry for believing the worst?
Oh, I'm sick at heart to think that in trying to help you and Larry, I've unwittingly caused you further hardship.
Rupert, are you quite sure you had no idea anyone was taking those pictures?
Oh, how can you even ask such a question, Mary? How can you in your wildest dreams believe that I would do anything so cheap, so small? I who've tried in every way to be your friend. Is this what you think of me for my efforts?
Oh, forgive me, Rupert, I'm all mixed up. I can't figure any way out of this. I'm so miserable.
Oh, my poor darling.
Rupert, please don't get so close to me.
Oh, Good heavens, I was only trying to lend you my handkerchief.
I'm sorry, but I'm entirely too unhappy to talk anymore. Please try to understand. Just remember that Larry is the only person in the world that matters to me. And he won't even let me come to see him. I've got to make him believe in me again, and that's why I can't talk to you anymore.
Well, Mary, wait. I believe I have an idea.
I'm sorry, Rupert. Please forgive me. I just can't talk anymore.
Mary Noble rushes to the elevator and the doors close. As Rupert Barlow watches her with a mounting sense of anger and frustration and a determination not to be outdone. At this same time in a hotel not so many blocks away, a guest has been discovered by a chambermaid lying unconscious on the floor. The maid has called the manager, who in turn has called in a nearby doctor. We hear...
I'm the manager of this hotel. Tell me, doctor, will she recover? Is there any sign of life? I can't have this kind of
How
thing.
do you expect me to listen for a heartbeat when all you do is crowd around and talk?
Well, kindly remember, Dr. Holly, that as I told you, I'm the manager of this hotel. It's my responsibility to know what happens to my guests. What's more, I called you in on this case, so it seems to me that...
All right. Just step back, Mr. Fowler. There's nothing to be accomplished by hovering over the patient. Just let me complete my examination, and then I'll tell you what I can.
I ask a simple question in the interests of this hotel.
This hotel has been nothing but a run-down theatrical boarding house for years. And it isn't the first time a guest or inmate has been...
Dr. Hawley, I'll have you know that there isn't a place in New York with a better reputation. This guest came here only a few days ago. She appeared entirely respectable. How was I to know she would try to end her life and...
Oh, save your breath, Fowler. The chances are she'll live.
Oh, thank heavens for that. What is it, Dr. Hawley? More of those sleeping tablets?
Not at all. She's had a sharp knock on the head. There's evidence of a struggle. Someone evidently forced his way in here.
You don't know what you're talking about. No one would try to force his way into this hotel. She must have fallen. Maybe she had a dizzy spell and hit her head. Look, on the corner of the bureau...
It's no good trying to reconstruct the crime. She will have to remain entirely quiet. She's not to be moved for any reason or disturbed. I'll send a nurse to attend her, Mr. Fowler.
But, Doctor, wouldn't it be better to send for an ambulance, take her to the hospital?
Not at present. The best thing is to allow her to remain entirely quiet. Later on, I'll see.
But suppose she doesn't... I mean to say...
And she doesn't recover? That's the chance we all have to take.
I don't want to plunge this hotel into an open scandal.
Well, that's your lookout, Mr. Fowler. Now, what is this patient's name for my records?
According to the register, she's Miss Claudia Vincent.
Claudia Vincent. Oh, that sounds familiar.
Oh, and so it should, Dr. Hawley. She's been widely written about in the case of this actor, Larry Noble, who's being held on a murder charge.
Oh, yes, I remember now. As you say, the one that's being tried for murder. Is this the woman, the one that Larry Noble is supposed to have killed that young Englishman for?
Oh, if anything happens to her, we're sure to have the place teeming with reporters and worse.
Well, that'd be good for the place, Mr. Fowler. Put it on the map. Well, I'll send a nurse to take over, and remember what I said. Absolute quiet. I'll be on my way now. I have other calls to make. I'll drop around later.
Dr. Hawley opens the door and stands case in hand waiting for Mr. Fowler, the nervous hotel manager. At this same time, we find Larry Noble sitting glumly in the visiting room of the New York City jail, while his close friend Maud Marlowe, the character actress, says...
I can't stay long, Larry. My new play opens day after tomorrow, and so, of course, we're up to our ears in rehearsal. There's the preview tonight.
It was darn nice of you to come at all, Maud. But you'd better skip the visits till after your play's open. I'll read the notices in the papers. Along with the latest pictures of my wife and her devoted Rupert Barlow.
Now, that's what I want to talk to you about, Larry. This is no time to let anything come between you and Mary. You need all the support you can get.
Why tell me? Why don't you say this to Mary? It's quite obvious she's so starry-eyed over Rupert Barlow's attentions while I'm in jail that nothing else matters.
That's where you're quite wrong, Larry. Mary is absolutely desolate over the way you refused to see her when she came here. You mustn't do this, Larry. You've got to keep your head now as never before.
Would you be able to laugh it off if you were in my place?
Oh, Larry, I don't know what I'd do. But I know this much. You can't allow any trouble to come between you and Mary until after your trial, at least.
Providing, of course, that I'm in a position to decide anything at all. Except what I shall have to eat for my final meal.
Larry Noble, you're not to talk like that.
Why not, Maud? Might as well start facing facts. And the first fact I'm facing is that my wife has turned to greener fields while I'm in jail.
Now, Larry...
I don't want her coming here to this jail anymore. You can tell her so, Maud. That's my personal message. Tell her just to keep away.
Maud Marlowe tries to speak, sees that it's impossible for Larry Noble to be convinced, and she rises to leave. As Rupert Barlow finally managed the breakup between Mary and Larry that he wanted, we'll be sure to be listening tomorrow to Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and her husband Larry Noble, famous Broadway star.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, Lulungameena by Gordon R. Dixon.
Blame Clay Harbank, if you like, for what happened at Station 563. Or blame Bill Peterborough, the one we called the Kid. I blame no one. I'm a Dorsey man. That means I was brought up on one of those tiny planets a million light years from nowhere. Being a Dorsey man is quite a responsibility. We are a very polite people. We have to be. Because when we get angry, we fight to the death. It all began that evening that Clay Harbank began reminiscing about his home planet, Lulungameena. We were sitting around the recreation room of 563. There was a card game going on in one corner.
Lulungameena. The very name sounds like music, doesn't it, Mort?
You know me, Clay. I'm a Dorsey man.
I've been in the Dorsey planets. I've seen them all knocking around this universe for 35 years. But when it comes to sheer beauty, Lulungameena.
How long since you've been home, Clay?
Home? 20 years, Mort. 20 stinking, miserable years. Well, that'll be over soon.
Another 10 days. You gonna miss old 563?
Miss this God-forsaken little asteroid? Not for a minute.
We'll miss your ugly face around here. At least I will.
I'm going to miss your gloomy Dorsey puss, too. Mort, why don't you get out of it? You've had more years in space service than any of us. You've probably got enough credits to get out, too.
Me? I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Couldn't you go home?
You should know better than that.
The Denebrian trouble?
The Denebrian trouble?
You could go to Earth.
What for?
Ever been there?
Never once. And I've never wanted to. I've seen too many Earthmen. Like the Kid over there.
He's green in service.
He's full of greed and stupid hate like the rest of them. No, that's not for me.
Looks as if the game's breaking up. Here he comes.
Well, if it isn't the big gambler from the windy planet. What's its name?
Lulungameena.
Yeah. How's the piggy bank coming, Dad?
The piggy's a gentleman, Kid. He never overeats, so he won't ever get indigestion.
Sour grapes. You see this wad of credits? 500. How long you have to work for 500 credits, Dad? How many trips you have to make around this asteroid? How much closer to fall in your grave you have to come?
You look as if you made a killing.
I always make a killing. I'm a natural-born gambler. And I don't just talk about it like some.
I think I'll go out and take a turn around the station, Mort.
Fine, I'll go with you. It's, stuffy in here.
Don't bother. I'd rather be alone.
Big shot. Knocked around the planets for 35 years. Used to have a reputation as the hottest gambler in the systems. Comes from the most beautiful planet in the universe. Bull.
Why don't you lay off him? Kid, let me give you a piece of sound advice.
Go ahead.
Lay off Clay Harbank. He's been around the systems a lot longer than you have. He may not be any chicken, but he's a tough baby when the situation calls for it.
You trying to scare me, Mort? I thought you Dorsai guys were smarter than that. I'm beginning...
No, look, kid.
No, look. No offense, Morty. I mean, I wasn't trying to insult the Dorsai people or anything. I gotta go do a flight check. I'll see you.
We were in bad shape. The 20 of us at Frontier Station 563 on the very edge of the human area had gone sour. Half the men had applications for transfer in already. What I told the kid about Clay being tough, well, that was a bluff to keep him off. Nobody knew better than I did that Clay was burned out inside like a used-up rocket. I put on a spacesuit and went out to join him.
Oh, hi, Mort.
Hi.
Beautiful night, huh?
Nice.
Back on Lulungameena, on a night like this, the rakish flowers open up, and you can hear them singing. There are 6 moons, and every one of them is like a yellow lantern. My mom and dad and I used to live on the edge of a lotus pool. Here I go talking about home again.
Figures. A guy who's been saving up for 10 years to get home is bound to start thinking about it when the time comes.
I wish you could come with me, Mort.
Clay, tell me something.
Yes?
You ever get the urge to gamble again?
Do I get the urge to gamble? Mort, you ever watch a man who's been on PON for a while? When he's broken the habit, you can't get him near the stuff. He despises it. And yet, the same man is liable to go back on with no provocation. Well, that's the way it is when you've gambled all your life.
I figured.
Maybe that's why I keep talking about home. Every time I hear the kid flipping those cards in the recreation room, I start talking about home. Have you noticed?
I've noticed.
But this time I'm going to make it, Mort. I tried 3 times before. This time I've got the dough, and I know I'm going to make it.
I think you will, Clay.
You know what did it?
No.
Lulungameena. That's what saved me this time. The thought of that beautiful planet.
Well, when you get there, you can send me a photo tape. At the rate we get visitors, it should reach me in 5 or 6 years.
You'll be out by then. You'll be home.
I'll never go home, Clay. Never. Well...
That's Red 4.
Screens must have picked up a ship in the galaxy.
Maybe we'll get a visit.
Keep us from going loco anyway. Coming in?
No, I think I'll stay out a while.
Well, I'm going to check the screen. See you later. Red 4 meant simply that a ship was entering the galaxy. The chances of it touching down on 563 were pretty remote, unless it happened to need a clearance for Earth or Mars. The screen was black by the time I got there, but the kid was filing a report.
Oh, hiya, Mort. Hey, what's a Hixabrod like?
Why?
We're having one for a visitor.
You don't say.
I just came in over the receiver. What'll he be like?
A Hixabrod? Stiff as a poker, proud as Lucifer, honest as sunlight, and tight as a camel on his way through the eye of a needle.
What do they look like?
Oh, they're kind of humanoid, but they have a deadpan face that never changes, like a mask.
Well, they're a little scary, I hear.
Oh, that's a green skin and the scales. Also, they run about 8 feet tall.
Ooh.
I wouldn't tangle with one if I were you. Back on Denebria once, I saw a Hixabrod rip a man to ribbons with its claws.
Why?
The man made the mistake of insulting Hixa. That's one of the twin planets they come from.
Pretty touchy, aren't they?
Not really. They're a very level-headed race. You know the Hixabrod reputation, don't you?
No, you didn't hear much about him on Earth.
Well, they're the first and only mercenary political arbitrators in the known universe. A Hixabrod can be hired, but he's absolutely incapable of being influenced or bribed. He tells the cold truth and nothing but the cold truth. And, brother, when a Hixabrod tells you the truth, it's plenty cold.
It really lets you have it, huh?
They're a small race and very much in demand. If some kind of political dispute comes up from planetary to inter-alien, both sides hire a Hixabrod to represent them. That way they know the other side is being completely honest.
Oh, that's very interesting, you know. Very interesting.
I could tell there was something on the kid's mind, but of course I didn't know what it was. Most of the talk in the recreation room that night centered around the arrival of the Hixabrod. Landing beacons were turned on, and we waited for another radio communication.
Hey, anybody want to sit in on this next hand? What?
No, thanks.
Well, I know better than to ask the galaxy's foremost gambler here.
That's right, kid.
Well, maybe when this Hixabrod gets here, we'll be able to work up a decent game. Do Hixabrods gamble?
No, kid, they don't gamble.
That's too bad. Well, we can always sit and listen to you lying about what a beautiful place Lulungameena is.
Kid, you just went too far.
Yeah, you're going to do something about it?
That's right, I'm going to punch your little nose.
Break it up! Break it up! Clay, you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Well, you better get to the infirmary. Have your mouth taken care of. Kid, you get to your quarters.
Since when are you giving orders?
I'm telling you to get to your quarters.
You better do what he says, kid. He's a Dorsai man.
That's all I've been hearing since I got here. What big gamblers come from Lulungameena and how Dorsai men are killers. So far, I've seen nothing, but I heard a lot of talk.
You're going to get to your quarters? I'll give you 5 seconds to start moving.
You better go ahead, kid.
Okay, Maud. I'm letting you bluff me out of the game this time. Just remember, there's going to be other games. Next time, I won't be bluffed.
He left the recreation room. I felt a slight and not unpleasant shiver run down between my shoulder blades, and my eyes were still hot. I'd almost lost my control that time, and my senses told me I'd better be careful. For the next 3 days, the tension of 563 was almost unbearable. Clay Harbank seemed to age 20 years after the kid knocked him down.
Now hear this, all personnel. Now hear this, all personnel. A ship is approaching for flight check. A ship is approaching for flight check. Report to Central. Report to Central.
Well, this is it, Clay. We're getting the Hixabrod.
Seems almost like home having a Hixabrod with us. They're all over the Tarsian system, you know.
You speak Hixabrod?
You have to on Lulungameena.
Oh, I didn't know that. I picked it up during the 3rd exploration.
Long time ago, huh?
We're not getting younger, Clay.
Yeah. I found that out.
Don't take it so big. He's just a punk kid.
Sure. And I'm just a dumb old man.
Forget it. That's touchdown. You ought to be here in a minute. That does it. He's down.
Look at that ship, huh?
Let's go. You'll need some help with his baggage. The ship was a silvery one-man job, the kind that have taken the Hixabrods all over the universe. The cabin door slid back, and the Hixa stepped out. He was as green and scaly as a lizard, but there was a certain unmistakable dignity in his bearing. Since I spoke the language, I was the first to greet him. Belt the Hutch and Hixabrod. Welcome to this place.
I greet you, Dorsai man.
My name is Mort Bianski.
I am called Dorlassus.
Come. I'll show you to your quarters.
Thank you.
How long will you remain here?
Only for one night. I wish clearance for Mars.
I'm sure it can be handled. This way. I wondered how he knew I was a Dorsai man. And then it seemed obvious. My broken nose, the scars, the lined face. Nobody could mistake a human from the Dorsai planets. Still, it scared me a little. I kept wondering if he had anything to do with interplanetary police. I tried to put it out of my mind. It was no use. Mind if I come in, Clay?
Sit down. Have a smoke.
Thanks.
Where's the Hicks abroad?
In his room, getting cleaned up for dinner.
Strange guys, aren't they?
Well, there's something even stranger going on.
What's that?
The kid's in there with him.
With the Hicks?
Mm-hmm.
What do you suppose they're talking about?
I don't know. I wish I did.
Kid's probably trying to get the Hicks into a dice game.
I doubt it.
What's on your mind, Mort?
Clay, you've been around. Are there any Hicks abroads in interplanetary police?
A few. Why?
I don't know. I just had a feeling, you know.
Oh, you're dreaming up bogeymen.
Maybe.
Besides, you're not in any trouble outside the Dorsai system.
I killed a human, Clay.
Not deliberately?
In a rage.
Happens all the time on Dorsai, doesn't it?
Not to an officer of Intergalactic.
Besides, that was 25 years ago.
There's no statute of limitations in the systems.
Nobody knows but me, right?
You don't have to be clairvoyant to wonder why a man hasn't been back to his home planet for 25 years.
You, think the kid...
I don't know. He's got no love for me.
Still, he doesn't know anything. How would he know this Hicks abroad is an agent, if he is?
Couldn't say.
Where are you going?
Well, I think I'll take a look at that message the kid filed. The one we got when we first picked up the Hicks abroad on the screens.
Let me know what you find, if anything.
I walked through the empty corridors to the communication center. I went directly to the files where incoming messages are kept and flicked the tab until I got to Notices of Arrivals. There, 2 days before, was a report of the arrival of Dorlassus. I ran my finger down the statistics until I came to the line that said, Point of Origin of Flight. It read, Tarsian Galaxy. That was where Clay Harbank's Lulungameena was. I read further, where it said Nature of Business. My blood ran cold as I spelled out the words, Criminal...
Come in.
Belta Hutchin, Hicks abroad.
I greet you, Dorsai man.
Is there anything you require?
Nothing, thank you.
I came to tell you that we'll have dinner tonight at 800 hours.
The young Earthman has already informed me.
There's a shortage of raw meat here.
I've brought my own food, thank you.
I see you came in from the Tarsian planets.
Yes?
You didn't happen to be in the Dorsai planets before that?
No.
Oh, I thought perhaps you might have some news.
I came from Intergalactic Headquarters.
Yes, I saw your flight check.
Then you know my mission.
Yes.
Good.
How long do I have to pack?
I will be leaving at 700 hours tomorrow morning. Can you be ready by then?
Yes, I guess so.
Good.
I don't suppose there's any point in appealing to you. Hicks abroad are supposed to be totally without emotion.
There is no point in appealing.
Funny thing. I've been running away from this moment for 25 years, and now that it's come, I'm glad. We'll be going back to the Dorsites?
Yes, to Intergalactic Headquarters.
After all these years. Home. I don't suppose a Hicks abroad knows what that feeling is like.
I will expect you at 700 hours. Now, if you don't mind, I wish to prepare my food.
One thing.
Yes?
Did the young Earthman tip you off about me?
No.
Funny. I could have sworn it was him. That was that. When a Hicks abroad tells you no, you can bet your life he isn't lying. I began to wonder how they located me. I began to wonder what he and the kid had talked about. I began to wonder a lot of things.
Well?
He's an agent for Intergalactic.
Well, that doesn't prove he's after you.
He is.
How do you know?
I just talked to him.
Lord in heaven.
It isn't so bad, really. Just think, I'll be going home.
I'm going to kill that kid.
Clay.
I'm going to kill him.
Clay, listen to me. The kid didn't turn me in.
You said...
I said he was talking to the Hicks. I just asked him. And the Hicks told me it wasn't the kid.
They don't lie.
So don't go blowing off.
It's going to be hard. 10 days.
Doesn't have to be 10 days.
What do you mean?
How many credits do you need to buy your way out?
Another 500. Next payday.
Don't wait.
Don't wait.
I have over 900 credits. I'll turn them over to you.
Mort.
Listen, I don't need them. You can pay off tomorrow and fly as far as the Tarzan chain with me and the Hicks.
It's a very nice thing, Mort.
Will you do it?
I'll think about it. Let you know after dinner.
I thought of running away, but there was really no place to run once they tracked you down. And the Hicksabrows were utterly relentless once they'd agreed to bring a man in. Since they had no feelings, they made no judgments. They were absolutely certain that a man would get a fair trial. I packed my stuff and went in to dinner. The Hicks-Abrod was at the head of the table eating his raw chinsu meat.
Pass the gravy, please. Dorlasis.
Yes?
They tell me that the Hicks-Abrod home planet is a very beautiful place.
It is true.
Well, I'm from Earth myself.
Yes.
I'm curious to know what this beautiful planet of yours looks like.
The kid's pretty talkative tonight. What's cooking?
I don't know, but I don't trust it.
The flora and fauna are maintained in excellent natural balance. No local surplus has exceeded 1% of the normal population for the last 60,000 years. Life on Hixa is predictable. The weather is controlled within the greatest limits of feasibility. The symmetry of the landscape is without parallel in the universe.
Very pretty picture. Very attractive home world. But I regret to inform you, Dorlasis, that I've been given to understand that it pales into insignificance when compared with another beauty spot in our universe.
Your Earth?
I wish I could say yes. No. This place is so wonderful, I doubt if an Earthman like me could get in. In fact, I've never seen it. But I've been hearing about it for some months now. And either it's the most wonderful place in the universe, or the man who's been telling me about it is a rotten liar.
Get your gun, kid. Get your gun.
Why guns?
You call me a liar.
Why use guns when it's possible to prove the thing one way or another with complete certainty? For months now, you've been telling me two things. One, that you used to be a gambler. Two, your precious Lulungameena is the most wonderful place in the universe. The question is either statement true?
They're both true.
You'll back them up?
With my life.
I'm not asking you to back them with your life. Just back them with that nice little hoard you've been accumulating all these years.
Clay, don't.
Well, you said you were a gambler. Bet with me and prove it.
Suppose I do. How do we prove my statement about Lulungameena?
It's easy. We have with us at this table a Hicks-Abrod. In a conversation with him, I found out that he's just visited every planet in the Tarsian chain. Now, as everyone knows, a Hicks-Abrod never lies. Do you think you could judge this point, Dorlasis?
The point can be judged.
Well, gambler.
Clay, it's a trick. Don't bet.
How much will you bet, kid?
All I got. The equivalent of 10 years' pay. Well?
You're on.
Dorlasis, okay if I question you?
Proceed.
You've been to the planet in the Tarsian chain, which this man calls his home?
I must ascertain the position of the planet.
The fourth planet.
Ah, yes. The one with 6 moons.
That's it.
I've been there recently. As you well know, since we spoke of it only this afternoon.
We did speak of it, that's true. Now, will you tell me, you know the planet?
Yes.
You know its geography?
I do not repeat myself.
Is it a large planet?
No.
Is it a rich planet?
No.
Was there not a rain of radioactive fallout from an explosion of a nearby star only 5 months ago?
There was.
Did it not destroy every piece of vegetation and leave this planet a gutted, smoking ruins, charred and ugly?
It did.
Well, gambler?
You haven't asked him the main question yet, kid.
Would you like to ask him?
All right. Hicks-Abrod, the question to be judged is this. Is Lulungameena the most beautiful and the most wonderful place in the universe?
Yes. It is.
What?
Well, kid?
That's a trick. It's a rotten trick. I don't believe it. The Hickses...
The eyes of the Hicks-Abrod were narrow and baleful as he pushed back his chair. You could almost feel them burning as he dragged his scaly feet over toward the kid.
He stopped about 6 inches from the kid and held both his hands up, palms near the kid's eyes. There was a clicking sound, and we watched 11 sets of gleaming razor-like claws shoot up from the tips of the Hixabrod's fingers. Their points were almost against the kid's eyes.
Look at my hands, Earthman. Are they not clean?
Yes.
Do you doubt that I have told the truth?
No.
Then there is nothing further to discuss. I bow to you, gentlemen. I thank you for your hospitality. You will excuse me.
We stood around and watched that proud, frightening figure drag itself out of the room. The kid was trembling like a leaf as he drew a bank draft for 10 years' pay and handed it to Clay Harbank. The next morning, Clay and I boarded the Hixabrod ship, and 4 days later, we touched down at the outer planet of the Tarsian chain.
Well, this is where I get off, Mort. I don't know what to say, really. I guess you know how I feel.
Think I do, Clay. Let's just say so long.
There will be no need for goodbyes.
What?
Both of you are leaving the ship here.
But I thought
I intend to return to intergalactic headquarters empty-handed.
Empty-handed? But they'll question you. What will you tell them?
The truth, of course.
But
you have told me nothing.
But I assumed...
I am not interested in your assumption. You asked me my mission. I told you it was a criminal investigation. You said you assumed you would go back with me, and I told you when my ship was departing. There is nothing more to be said.
But surely you know...
Mort, don't say anything. The Hixabrod deals only with facts, what is absolutely known. They're the most literal beings in the universe. Let it go at that.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I am grateful for the pleasure of your company.
5 minutes later, Clay Harbank and I shook hands at the exit of the spaceport on Tarsus 10. But before we parted, there was one thing I had to know. Clay, one thing before you go.
Yes?
How did you know the Hixabrod would lie about Lulungameena?
He didn't lie, Mort. The Hixabrod never lies.
But Lulungameena...
Mort, let me tell you something. Lulungameena is a word in use throughout the Tarsian planets. Actually, it's a Hixabrod word. It means home. All I did was ask the Hixabrod if home was beautiful. He simply said yes. And a Hixabrod, as everybody knows, doesn't lie.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features the Finn O'Donovan novelette Bad Medicine, the story of a robot therapist that never failed to effect a cure, even if it had to convert itself into a typhoid Mary to do so. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Lulungameena, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Gordon R. Dixon and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Ralph Camargo, Ned Weaver, Jack Grimes, Bob Hastings, and Kermit Murdoch. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
X-1 came to you from our Radio City studios in New York. Next week, listen to Project Mastodon, Clifford Seamark's story on X-1. Follow the news with Chet Huntley tonight on the NBC Radio Network.
Now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC. Countdown for blast-off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, Project Mastodon by Clifford D. Simak.
Mr. Secretary, may I present Mr. Hudson of Macedonia. Macedonia. Mr. Hudson, this is the Secretary of State. Honored, sir. Now, as Chief of Protocol for the Department, I've informed
All right, Mr. Kingston. I haven't much time. I'm due at a meeting of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee at 2. If you pass Mr. Hudson in, I'll assume everything is quite proper. Now then, Mr. Hudson, I understand you've been here several times seeking recognition for your country.
Well, that's right. I had a hard time making your staff believe I was in earnest.
And are you, Mr. Hudson?
Oh, very much so.
You are an American, Mr. Hudson. I assume you are acting as a representative for Macedonia rather than as a principal in the matter.
Oh, no. I claim dual citizenship, sir. I am a Macedonian.
You pardon me, but I've never heard of your country.
Well, it's a new nation, but quite legitimate. We have a constitution, a democratic form of government, duly elected officials, and a code of laws. We are a free, peace-loving people, and we are possessed of a vast amount of natural resources. And
Please tell me, Mr. Hudson, just where are you located? I gathered it was somewhere in Asia.
Oh, no. Technically, you are our nearest neighbors.
That's ridiculous. Now, look here, Hudson, you can't...
If you'll give me just a moment, Mr. Secretary, I have considerable evidence.
I'll have to ask you to leave. I'm sorry, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Hudson. You've submitted a document signed by a certain Wesley Adams.
Well, he's our first president. You see, we'd like to establish diplomatic relations. After all, we are a sister republic. We'd like to negotiate a trade agreement, and, of course, we'd be grateful for assistance under the foreign aid program.
Naturally. Who wouldn't?
Mr. Secretary.
All right, Kingston.
We're prepared to offer something in return for, one thing. Sanctuary.
Sanctuary?
I understand that in the present state of international tensions, a foolproof sanctuary is not something to be sneezed at.
All right, Kingston, I think we've had enough. Show Mr. Hudson out.
All right, let's have the story again.
Look, mister, I don't want any trouble.
Just tell the story again. You want to cooperate with the FBI, don't you?
Oh, sure I do. Sure, but I just don't want any trouble.
All right, start over. You found the briefcase in the booth.
Yeah, that's right. I brought my beer over from the bar, you know? And this fella just went out a minute before, so I figured he must have left it. I run after him.
You didn't see him, though?
No. So I just kind of looked in the briefcase. You know, I mean to identify it, that's all. I don't steal.
Then you came to us.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, after all, when I saw that stuff, well, I just figured I was way over my head, you know?
All right. Don't say anything about this, do you understand? We'd rather you just forgot the whole thing.
Oh, sure. Listen, some things I don't want to remember. You know?
Hello? Is this Dr. Harrison of the Paleontology Department? This is Mr. Jenkins at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We have some movie film we'd like you to look over. Huh? We acquired it. Big shaggy elephants and tigers with teeth down to their neck. No. No, it's not fakes. Our labs are sure of that. Whatever is on those films is real. No, we don't know. That's why we called you. We haven't the slightest idea where those pictures were shot. We can't even guess.
Ow! What's the matter, Coop? One of those flying hypodermics. This is a fine, healthy spot. Mosquitoes as big as hummingbirds.
Oh, careful, son. You're knocking the climate of the capital city of Macedonia.
Yeah, some capital city. One palm tree and a Boy Scout pup tent. Wes, this is the wildest thing we ever did. What if Chuck can't get back?
Chuck Hudson is a man of many parts. Have faith.
Supposing they're putting him in jail, or something might happen to the time unit or the helicopter. We should have gone along.
Do you think they'll do it, Coop?
Oh, why?
The United States. Do you think they'll recognize us?
Not if they know that Macedonia is the United States 50,000 years ago.
So we have to get legal recognition first, otherwise it wouldn't be safe. There goes that Mastodon again. Good old Buster.
Where is he?
Right there. Over by the Grove, see? He's lonely.
What?
He probably is. He must have been run out of the herd by some younger bull. That's why he hangs around like some homeless dog.
One thing worries me, Wes. I know you dreamed up the time unit, and we all chipped in for the helicopter, but can you just claim territory on your own like we did?
Why not? We found it, it's ours.
Hey, Buster's coming this way. Give me the right.
No, wait. Maybe he's only bluffing.
If that Mastodon comes through here, he'll stomp everything flat. I'll give him 3 steps more.
Oh, it'd be such a shame to plaster him. He's such a nice old monster.
One more step and he gets it.
Hey, that's Chuck. He's back.
I wish he could fly that helicopter better. He might wreck it.
Well, anyway, he scared Buster off.
Poke those fires up, Wes.
No, they're high enough, Coop.
You don't want a saber-tooth waltzing through here, do you?
Well, we better get a stockade up. Some night a herd of Mastodon will come busting in here, and if they ever hit the helicopter, we'll be dead ducks. We'd never get back. We'd be stuck back here in the Pleistocene age. I won't feel safe till we get another helicopter.
Those Mastodons carry a lot of ivory. And the mammoths up north.
Oh, sure. And get socked in the jug for smuggling ivory? The only way to cash in on the time unit is to get diplomatic recognition for Macedonia.
We've got a good case. You said so yourself.
A saber-tooth?
Down by the Grove.
I don't like that. Sounds closer. Hey, poke up that fire, will you, Coop?
Oh, well, that's Buster.
There he is. He's tangling with a saber-tooth.
I'll lay 3 to 5 on Buster.
Cat's drawing blood. I'll take $5 of it.
Come on, Buster. Roll on him, will you?
Cat's on his head now. Hey,
he's coming this way.
Look out!
Wes, turn him. Shoot.
Hey, got him!
Is he dead?
Yeah.
The tiger's gone. He won't get far.
Neither will we.
Oh, no.
Yeah, good old Buster. Trust him to drop dead right across the helicopter.
Well, we can fix it, can't we?
We probably won't even be able to roll Buster off of it. And the rotor blades are twisted and the frame is a mess. A total mess, gentlemen. We are in trouble. Macedonia faces a crisis.
Herb,
you're the key man in the administration. You swing a big stick on the hill. You can't give up on Project Mastodon now.
Les, it's been 10 years. If they were coming back, they'd be here by now.
Look, I've been working on this ever since we got those films. I've traced their lives from the time they were born till the time they disappeared. Adams was the brains. The other two were quite capable of helping him carry it out. Hudson knew all the angles.
Les, I've sneaked your appropriation through 4 times. Now, there's a limit.
But I've got the proof. We've had every paleontologist in the country go over those films. They couldn't be faked. Who would know to put lynx tassels on the ears of saber-toothed tigers? Who would know that young mastodons were black? And the location. We tracked down Adams' farm just from landmarks in the prehistoric landscape in those films. We've got to contact them.
Look, Les, even assuming it's all true, a planet has only a grand total of resources. If we get Adams' device...
Time machine.
If we exploit resources of prehistoric America, won't we be robbing ourselves of our own heritage?
Look, Herb, I've been over all that with the AEC. There's a lot of lead in southwestern Wisconsin. If we go back far enough, we can catch it when it's uranium.
The whole research project hasn't turned up a lead on Adams' machine, if it exists.
We've got to keep watching that farm. They might return. We've got to keep looking for them, no matter how long it takes.
Listen, Wes, we can't stay around here much longer. Old Buster's getting a little too strong.
Yeah, well, I'll have the time unit clear the helicopter in a few minutes. Then we'll just have to move camp upwind.
Look at him. Only 2 days since he dropped dead. Bless his heart. Already those vultures are half into him.
I'll have him picked clean inside of a week.
Give me the hex wrench, will you?
Wes, is it all right? The time unit?
Well, we won't know until we try it, Coop. And then, of course, it's too late.
Well, either does or doesn't. Problem is, how are we going to use it without the copter?
Couldn't we take a chance on using it on the ground?
No, we have to get up in the air. You don't want to take a chance of arriving in the 20th century about 6 feet underground.
Wait a minute, Wes. It's got to be higher here than in the 20th century. Look, these hills have stood here since the Jurassic era. They got to be weathered down.
Yeah, I know. The only safe way is to build a platform about 12 feet high. That should be enough to clear us.
But suppose we come out on the other end 2 feet higher.
Well, we fall. Which would you rather do? Take a chance on a broken leg or stay here?
Okay. Now, what do we build the platform out of?
There you are, Wes.
All right. I got it. Chuck, comes the next stone.
Now, wait a minute.
Hey, look out. You want a whole pile to come down?
I'm sorry. Okay, Wes, hand it up.
Yep.
Give it.
That's about 12 feet, isn't it?
Well, it ought to be. It took us 10 days to pile it up. Look out, I'm coming down.
All right, don't start an avalanche.
Well, pretty soon we'll be able to start all over again.
Mm-hmm. If the unit works.
Yeah, that isn't all. We don't have any proof we've been back here. We'll be stone broke. Another helicopter would cost $30,000. Can't walk into a bank and borrow $30,000 to take a short trip to the Stone Age.
Wes, where do you figure we are? I mean on the farm.
Well, I think we're clear of the barn and the silo.
I hope so.
The way I figured, we're astraddle that barbed wire fence at the south end of the orchard.
Well, we might as well give it a try.
All right, I'll get the unit. You two climb up on top of the pyramid. You ready?
Think it'll work, Wes?
I don't know, Coop. Got pretty well banged up when Buster hit the copter. I haven't got the equipment to check the waveforms. All right, stand around close. Bend your knees a little. Might be quite a drop.
Go ahead. Push the button.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Nothing.
Doesn't work.
Well, that's that. We're stuck.
sorry, Les.
There's nothing you can do, Herb. You've been out of government for 5 years.
If there's anything I can do, the board of directors instructed me to offer you...
No, thank you.
Well, what are you going to do? I mean, now that you're retired.
I bought a farm.
Oh?
In Wisconsin.
You haven't given up, have you?
I'm the only one. They closed Project Mastodon down 3 years ago, and they've been hinting ever since that I'd be happier retired. Old Bowers, he's the crackpot from Project Mastodon.
I'm sorry, Les, but it has been 20 years.
Yes, it has. But think of it. From a military point of view, hidden bases in enemy territory itself, centuries removed in time, yet only seconds away. If we had bases like that and shelters...
Relax, Les. It's all over.
Sure. It's all over.
Miss.
You should be more careful. We've only been stuck a month now. Someday we'll run out of ammo, and then it's bows and arrows.
It's cold. There'll be snow soon.
Coop, I'm worried about Wes. He takes it pretty hard.
As long as he's tinkering on that time unit, he's happy.
Oh, he isn't going to repair the unit. He hasn't got a chance. Back in the workshop with the tools, maybe.
Well, anyway, the hunting's great.
Well, maybe we better start saving bullets for big game. We won't be lords of creation around here long without our guns.
Yeah, and if one of us gets sick or breaks a leg, well, nobody lives forever.
Wes is the lucky one. He's got that time unit to tinker with. Come on. We better get back to camp.
Hey, Wes! Come on.
Wes! Wes!
There's no sign of him. Wait, there's a note on the door.
Wes!
Never mind, listen. Dear guys, I don't want to get your hopes up again and have you disappointed, but I think I may have found the trouble. I'm going to try it out. If it works, I'll be back to get you. Wes.
What, a fool?
That unit can't work. He must be off his rocker.
Wait a minute. Coop, look, that pyramid. It took us 10 days to pile those stones up.
It's gone. The pyramid of rocks. It's gone.
Oh, what the... Of all the confounded... Oh, what's going on out there? Rocks? Who dumped those rocks? My car, who's out there?
It's all right.
Don't you move, mister. I got a 45 pointed at you.
Well, I can explain.
Well, you better. There was a brand new car where you dumped that load of rocks. Who the devil are you?
My name is Wesley Adams.
Adams? Man, where have you been all these years?
Well, I don't suppose you'll believe me, but the fact is...
I've been waiting for you for 25 years. The others all gave up.
I'm sorry about your car.
Oh, never mind. I'll be right down. Now, don't touch a thing. Don't go anywhere.
Can't be 25 years. It's only been a few months in Macedonian time.
25 years. Man, it's been a long wait.
The unit must have been badly calibrated. You see, it isn't accurate for more than 50,000 years at a jump if the setting is moved.
Well, we'd better call Washington. I imagine you'll want the same terms as before.
Terms?
Recognition, economic aid from Macedonia, defense pact. Now, listen, Adams, you've got those saps over a barrel. You can get anything you want now.
The unit. I'll have to calibrate to the day to go back for them.
Oh, don't worry about it. You can have every scientist in the country working on it now. Oh, you've got them right where you want them. Hello? Long distance. This is Major General Leslie Bowers, retired. I want to put a call to the President of the United States, White House, Washington. You can tell them I'm placing the call for the President of the Republic of Macedonia.
Come on, Og, son of fire. Put another log on. It's cold.
It's good cold storage for the furs. Boy, when West gets back, we'll be millionaires. Furs, ginseng root, ivory.
If he gets back. It's been 5 years.
He'll come back. I feel it in my bones.
Well, he better find it before we get too old to enjoy anything. Unfortunately, there's no Social Security in Mastodon.
Don't you worry. West is working on it right now. I can feel it.
Hello, Charlie. Something just came through on the ticker. I want you to get a background story on it. And we just recognized Macedonia. What? How should I know where it is? Look it up in the encyclopedia. Huh? No, the item says formal recognition was delayed 5 years until communication could be established. Certain technical difficulties. What? I don't know. Wherever it is, I don't see what difficulties could hold up 5 years. It stands to reason wherever the place is, you could walk there in 5 years. Nah, it's not important. You know these postage stamp countries. Monaco, Luxembourg, they're all alike. What's so different about Macedonia?
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features the Theodore Sturgeon novelette, The Skills of Xanadu. When a malignant world endangers another, surgery is the usual answer. But perhaps there's another solution, to kill it with kindness. Galaxy Magazine on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Project Mastodon, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Clifford D. Simak and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Floyd Mack, Dick Hamilton, Charles Penman, Raymond Edward Johnson, Frank Maxwell, Robert Hastings, John Larkin, and Joseph Julian. Your announcer is Jerry Damon. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Listen next week for the Murray Leinster story, If You Was a Motlin, a tale in which the childlike natives of a strange planet pull a real switch on a red-headed female witch, and everyone doubles in brass. That's next week on X-1.
The strange island of Euclidia becomes more mysterious and terrifying with every discovery Jerry and his friends make on this weird artificial stronghold. Captain Bradford has decided that the seaweed cloth, from which all clothes on the island are made, will keep out all sound and light beams and rays, and is trying to plan a method of using this cloth to aid in their escape. Joan, Mrs. Gregory, Jerry, and Tex were inspecting the cloth factory when the alarm sounded. Someone escaping from the island. Escaping from the very pier where the Gregory yacht is held. Jerry has run off after some of the island men to watch them prepare for the capture of the escaping man.
I wish Jerry had stayed with us. These terrible men may be very angry to find Jerry following them.
You need not worry about that, Mother. Jerry may go with them if he wishes, but he may see someone receive a horrible punishment when they catch the escaping man.
You say when they catch him, not if? Isn't there any chance at all of getting away?
No, Captain Bradford. G47 has been here for many years, and since he started this colony all alone, no one has ever escaped.
Where did the men go, the men Jerry was following?
I think they went down into one of the submarine locks.
Going to use a submarine in the chase, eh? Not much chance for anyone to get away, I guess.
Isn't it strange that everything should be so quiet? Someone is escaping from the island. We heard the alarm. Yet there's no confusion, no soul in sight.
There is never any confusion on Euclidia. Each man and woman on the island have their places and duties for every emergency. They go about their work just as quietly and naturally as you would eat a meal.
This is going to be a hard job, Pap, but we'll find some way to beat them at their own game. Hello. There's Hanson standing on the yacht, waving for us to come to the rail.
Then it must have been someone off the yacht who escaped.
Looks like it. Come on.
Who is this Hanson, Mother?
Our engineer. A fine, steady sailor who's had the motors of my boats for 3 years.
He's all excited about something now. He's pointing at the bridge, then down into the water. It was the skipper then.
Oh.
But what kind of a crazy scheme did he try to put over? The boats are both there. I hope he wasn't wild enough to try to swim for it.
Look, Tex. Hanson has a note in his hand, and his finger to his lips.
He means for the captain to read the note and say nothing.
Yeah, that's what I expect. Well, we'll see. Well, what is it, Hanson? Oh, all right. Yes, I understand. Yes, you did just right. Everything you could have said would probably have been overheard. I'll call if I want you, Hanson. Thanks.
Isn't it strange how loud his footsteps sound on the deck of the yacht, and ours make no sound on the island floor?
Those sounds are very comforting to me, dear. And you will learn to live in our world where natural things make the natural sounds they ought to make. Good, healthy, natural sounds. Oh, this perfection of silence here, it's too much for me.
But I can't tell you what is in this note until I get it under some of their ray-deflecting cloth and show it to you. I'm even afraid to hold it out in the light any longer for fear they have read it. But it's good news. Good old skipper.
Well, can we take him to the cabin now and discuss it? We have enough of the cloth to screen a room or at least a section of a cabin.
But I want to go back and look for Jerry. The men should be coming back now, and I want to meet that foolish boy before he makes them angry. He will ask too many questions, and that they will not like.
Good idea, Joan. Take your mother with you. Go and find the kid and keep his mouth shut. If he hasn't opened it too far already. I'm going aboard the yacht and do a little figuring on this note.
The alarm again. That means they have not found the one who escaped. They will be sending out another party to search the ocean.
That alarm was 7 strokes. What does that mean?
Another person has escaped near Pier 7, or the one who escaped before has been seen near Pier 7.
That was 10. Does that mean Pier 10, Joan?
Why, yes, but I cannot understand that. There could not be 3 different people escaping from 3 different places at the same time.
And why is that impossible?
Because when the first alarm sounded, everyone on the island except the searchers and our little party would have been locked in their quarters.
Tex, do you know what all this means?
Well, I've got a good idea. Unless I'm mistaken, all the other alarms will ring before they get done. Now, you two try to find Jerry and get him back to the yacht before he does or says anything to get them angry enough to throw him in a cell. I'm going aboard the yacht. You board it and come to the radio cabin as soon as you find Jerry.
I have never known anything like this to happen. What can it be, Mother?
I think the captain has an idea, dear, but you mustn't ask him now, for fear someone might overhear our answers. We'll go, Tex, and report to you just as soon as we find Jerry.
Well, good luck. Now, if I'm only figuring this thing right, good old skipper. There's no need to bother with this cloth over my head now. Everyone's too busy running down these alarms to listen for my radio beam. Boy, the old skipper is sure stirring things up. Now, if I can only raise Judson while all this hubbub is going on. Oh, of course, I'd have to wait for the set to warm up. Hanson could have gotten that note to me a little quicker. The old boy's got him on the run. But how long he can keep it up remains to be seen.
Calling J24Y. Hello, J24. J12 to J24Y.
Here he is now. Hello, J12. Hello, Johnson. Bradford on J24Y to Johnson. Hello, J12.
I've been trying to get you for an hour, J24. Hello, J24Y. J12 standing by for emergency call. Something wrong your last message. Hello, J24. Hello.
Okay, J12. Listen carefully. Get this right. No time repeat or confirm. Our position correct as given you before. Latitude 29 south. Longitude 124.30 west. Island is colony of mad scientists. Surrounded by magnetic belt and radio beam craft.
Calling J24Y. Johnson to Bradford.
What's the matter, Johnson? Can't you hear me? Your signal is perfect here. Hello, Johnson. Hello, J12.
J12 to J24Y. Calling Bradford on J24Y. Your directional carrier faded an hour ago. No signal from you. Where are you, J24Y?
I'm not getting out. Something wrong with this set. Yeah, the skipper is keeping them entertained, but it won't do any good if I can't get through here pretty quick. Hello, J12? J12. This is Bradford on J24Y. Can you hear me, J12?
You can hear me. J12 signing off. Have several private phone stations trying to reach you. If you can hear this and need aid, get message to land station for cable relay. J12 standing by.
Oh, he's gone and he couldn't even hear my signal. That sounds like the search might be all over, and our one chance is gone.
You had no chance. Did you give me so little credit as to think I would leave your radio beam open just because some silly fool wanted to experiment with my punishment for attempted escape? Your directional beam is being completely absorbed by our metallic blanket. You may speak to me through your radio. If you can think of anything intelligent to say...
I have nothing to say.
You at least have that much intelligence, and for your satisfaction, I might add that your skipper is now my prisoner.
What are you going to do with him?
You will never see him again. Now, your friends are about to enter your cabin, bringing with them enough of the cloth you want so badly that you may line your council chamber with it. You may talk without fear of my hearing you, and plan more of your silly attempts to escape. But please do not compel me to remind you again of the stupidity of trying to use your radio.
I'll get that fellow someday if it's my last act.
Oh, Tex, I've just heard the most terrible thing. Was that the skipper who tried to escape?
Yes, Pat. What happened to him?
They turned the full power of all the current on the island into the screens at the end of the piers. A man swimming within 100 feet of the ends of those piers would be paralyzed and drown at once.
That's bad. For the moment, I'll have to ask you to forget it and help me rig up a screen of this cloth we have, big enough for the three of us to talk under at once. I have some news, too. Use the porthole screws and the backs of the chairs. Lay some on the floor. I've got to talk to you at once.
Will this be all right if I put some over here, Captain?
That's the idea.
We're almost hemmed in now. The floor is covered.
The radio panel will do for this side. Not much air in here, but what I have to say won't take long.
How can we hold it over our heads?
I guess we'll have to do just that. Hold it.
All right. There isn't a speck of light coming in any place now. Now listen closely while I tell you what happened.
Yes.
The skipper staged that escape so I could have a chance to use this radio without being overheard.
What?
That was what the note said that Hansen gave me.
And did you use the radio?
Yes, and the only one who heard me was G47. Oh. I should have known he would intercept my beam.
Did you get any of your message through, Captain?
Not a word of it. I could hear Johnson trying to call me all the time, but he couldn't even get my signal.
Oh, then it was all useless. And the skipper... Oh, Tex, I feel so badly about that. He was a fine man and a grand friend of ours.
Yeah, keep your chin up, Pat. That's the one bright spot in the whole thing.
But, Captain, the skipper must have been killed. They always are when they try to swim through the electric net.
Yes, but the skipper didn't try to do that. He merely used my air rifle. Doesn't make a sound. And he shot through the portholes here so he wouldn't be seen.
Well...
Shot pieces of steel wire at the ends of all the piers at range the gun would reach.
No.
He knew those metal pieces striking the water would set off the magnetic alarm.
Then where is he?
Safe in a locker down on the keel. G47 tried to bluff me about having the skipper a prisoner, so they haven't located him. We can smuggle this cloth and food to him. We've got one more on our sides than they know anything about.
Oh, that is fine, Captain.
That almost makes up for the radio message not getting through. We've got a man whom G47 thinks is missing, and we may be able to use him in many ways. Good old Skipper.
Now, with this cloth, we may be able to do something with an idea Jerry had. Say, where is Jerry?
Why, we thought he had come here to you.
We saw the searching party return.
And Jerry wasn't with him?
No, Tex. He wasn't.
Oh, Mother, I am afraid for Jerry.
On the strange island of Euclidia, the magic island of the South Seas, is being enacted one of the weirdest dramas ever seen by man. When Mrs. Gregory brought Captain Tex Bradford and Jerry Hall on her yacht to find her long-lost little daughter Joan, none of them dreamed that the island would be anything like it's been found to be. This artificial island is the headquarters of a group of mad scientists. The Gregory yacht is held powerless at one of the island piers, and Mrs. Gregory and her brave friends try to plan their escape from the island. Just when it seems they have a ray of hope, Jerry disappears.
Are you sure that you saw Jerry follow those scientists in the submarine lock when they went to look for the escaping prisoner, or what they thought was an escaping prisoner?
We watched him carefully. You saw him go into that elevator, didn't you, John?
Yes, Mother. Jerry obviously went into the entrance to the submarine chamber elevators. He could have gone no other place.
But what happened to him? If he went down there with those men, why didn't he come back with them?
Oh, Captain Bradford, there might be so many answers to that.
Joan, dear, you don't think they would harm Jerry?
If Jerry got in their way or made them angry, they might punish him in ways that... Oh, Mother, I do not want to talk about such things.
Can't we do something, Tex? Must we just sit here on this helpless yacht and wonder what's happened to that boy?
We would not be allowed to do anything if we tried to.
I'm afraid Joan's right, Pat. I think G47 and his mad crew have even worse things on this island than Joan has told us about. We couldn't find Jerry unless they want us to. If we insist too hard on anything, it may mean the lives of all of us. And it certainly would mean the end of our chance of escape.
But, Tex, dear, we have no chance to escape as it is.
I think, Captain Tex, that no one will ever escape from Euclidia until G47 wills it so.
Well, don't be too sure of that. I'll admit it looks bad enough right now. But there's two things to remember. The first one is, I've got a formula these scientists know something of, and they're afraid of it.
What is the formula, Captain?
Tex wouldn't dare tell you now, Joan. Of course, we think we're safe in talking with this cloth screen around us, but how can we be sure this cloth is absolutely opaque to all the waves and rays these fiends control to watch over our movements with?
You may be sure of that, Mother. I know that these men would trust their lives to that cloth. It will successfully refract every light and sound wavelength on the island.
Well, if you're sure of that, Joan, then you can be sure that one of these days we'll get away from Euclidia.
How can that seaweed cloth mean all that, Tex?
I'm not thinking so much of the material as I am of the fluid they soak it in. They do put it in the liquid, you said, Joan?
Yes, Captain. When it is manufactured in the noisy machines I showed you, it is just a cloth made from seaweed. It is a fine and strong and good cloth, but it is not protected against these rays until it has been immersed in the secret liquid preparation.
What are you trying to arrive at, Tex?
Well, I'm going to take a chance on our being safe in here and figure that we can work out a plan without being overheard. After all, we must all understand just what we expect to do. Now, here are 2 points necessary to our rescue.
You mean our escape?
No, I mean rescue. I'm ready to concede that escape is absolutely impossible. So that leaves rescue as our only hope.
But, Captain Bradford, surely you must realize that rescue is also impossible.
On the contrary, dear. We have some things in our world that you know little about. All we need is to get a message through to the government of our country, any civilized country, and a fleet of battleships and airplanes would destroy this island within an hour after they had sighted it.
No, Mother dear, you are mistaken. Your battleships would mean nothing here.
Tex, do you realize what Joan means? Is it possible?
Not only possible, but probably a very conservative statement of a plain fact.
A battle fleet helpless? But how? With what?
I haven't been able to find out yet. Probably we'll never see all the weapons here. But I know without seeing them, this colony of scientific criminals could undoubtedly destroy any war machines a civilized world could send against them.
You are right, Captain. G47 and the Euclideans have ray guns, no larger than a man's arm, which will destroy a battleship with only a little crying sound.
What is the range of these rays?
I am not sure, but they will not shoot accurately as far as one of the large rifles on your battleship.
There you are, Tex. The heavy armored ships could stay out of range of those ray guns and shell the island.
Yes, and their projectiles would fall all around the island and never touch it. How is a metal projectile, fired at long range and high trajectory, going to enter an area so magnetized that a large boat is held powerless by magnetism? No, there's no help to be expected from that quarter.
And a weapon which might penetrate the defense here could not be brought within range. It would be destroyed.
Then it's just about hopeless, isn't it, Tex?
No, it's going to be hard, but not hopeless.
I don't see what you can be thinking of. We haven't any weapons I ever heard of which would destroy this place, and you admit our battleships and planes would be useless.
Do you know of something in your country which will destroy Euclidia? Something which will rescue us from this terrible island?
Yes, Joan, I do. Just how it can be used and how we are to get word to our friends that we want them to attack and use this weapon, those are things we've got to figure out.
What do you propose to use, Tex?
My formula.
But no one knows the formula except yourself. You would have to send the formula to someone, and how can we do that? We can't even use the radio without G47 hearing it.
And he would get the formula if you attempted to give it to your friends through the air channel.
Yes, I know that, but there must be some way to get that formula to the government chemist in some civilized capital, and we'll find out what that way is.
But what is the formula, Captain? I know that G47 wants it. It was for that reason he allowed your yacht to reach this island, and my mother to find me. What is your wonderful formula, Captain?
I couldn't tell you that. It would be too dangerous. Even if the seaweed cloth does protect us from sight and sound waves, and even if G47 didn't actually hear me tell you the formula, it would expose you to added danger.
Don't you see, my dear? If you knew the formula, G47 might torture you to get it from you. Tex has protected Jerry and me the same way. No one in the world knows the formula but the captain. And everyone knows that he alone has it, so the rest of us are safe in that way.
I did not mean to tell me the ingredients of the formula, but just what it will do. G47 knows that much about it now.
Yes, I thought so. And G47 knows a great deal about my formula. Well, enough of that. We'd better be thinking about Jerry and what we can do for him.
We can do nothing. Only wait. Wait until it pleases G47 to allow Jerry to return to us.
Is this true, Tex? With all your knowledge of science, all my money and influence, and all our friends in the world out there, we must just sit quietly while a mad scientist does as he pleases with one of our party?
Yes, I guess that's about right. Here we are, sitting in a cloth room within a little cabin, trying to plan an escape from the most powerful man the world of science has produced.
I wish Jerry were here. You do not understand the terrible things that could happen to him here on this island.
Don't you think we ought to go and look for him, Tex?
I'm sorry, but I don't. Whatever has happened to the boy, it's something G47 has planned to have happen to him. And for the sake of ourselves, our rescue, and possibly the safety of many others, we've got to keep quiet and let G47 do as he pleases. I think there's no danger of his hurting Jerry, or any of us, unless...
J12.
Unless he gets my formula, then...
J12C calling J24Y. Hello, J24.
There's Johnson.
Hello, J24Y. Hello, Bradford. J12C standing by. Your last message received and logged. Your position 29 south, 124.30 west. Can't understand why no signal from you, since I warned you of storm center at 27 degrees south. We'll be standing by when possible. Johnson standing by.
Good old Johnson. He'll get to us some way. He knows that I would have the receiver standing open if possible. It won't be long until we have a friend within striking distance.
Hey there. What's the idea of the tent?
Oh, it's Jerry.
Come inside the little tent, Jerry, and be careful not to leave any opening.
Boy, have I had a time. And have I seen things.
They didn't hurt you, did they, son?
No, not yet. But they showed me plenty of things they could hurt me with if they wanted to. I've been in their local observation chamber, looking through the instruments that let you see everything on the island, and inside it, too.
Could you see us in here?
No, sir. This cloth is the real stuff. I could see through every other place on the yacht, but this cabin just showed us a black square. We couldn't see or hear anything you were doing here, but we could see the skipper.
Oh, then our plan to keep the skipper in hiding is blown up.
I was of the opinion that it would do no good to hide him in the hold of the boat without this cloth to cover him.
No wonder they weren't more worried about his escape attempt. And of course they gave up looking for him just as soon as their instruments located him on the yacht.
I guess they let me see all that. just so it would scare us out of not trying any more tricks on them.
Well, we're going to try one more, just the same. You're sure we can talk freely here, kid?
Oh, absolutely. This cloth stops all our loud and sound waves.
Okay, then. Pat, will you and Joan take a few turns around the deck, just to be sure no one surprises us while Jerry and I work our little plan?
Of course, Tex. Come on, Joan. Call us when you're ready.
Now, Jerry, we've got to figure how to get the formula of my universal solvent to Johnson. I didn't want Joan to know about it. Then she'll be safe in G47 when he tries to find out more about it.
The universal solvent? So that's the formula?
Yes, Jerry, I've actually got the formula for a universal solvent.
Oh, swell. Oh, but when you make some of it, what are you going to keep it in?
You're all right, kid. You use your head, don't you?
Well, I figure that if you have something which will dissolve everything in the world, it would be impossible to keep it in any container. It would just eat right through it.
Good boy. But I can do it just the same. And I'll show you how when the time comes. Just now, we've got to figure how to get the formula to Johnson. He's a lot closer to us than he was right now.
Gee, how do you know that?
We just heard his signal. I'm keeping this set hot all the time. Only the receiver, of course. And Johnson said he was standing by. And that the latitude of the storm center is now 27 degrees south. That's all in our code.
I remember. He means he's on his way here with a boat. And he'll stand along north of us at latitude 27 south till we can get a message to him.
Right, kid. And even if they intercepted his message here, they wouldn't get much out of it. Now I know how Johnson can rescue us. If I can figure how to get that formula to him.
But with this magnetic fog of theirs intercepting all our messages, how can we do that? Heck, a cold would be too dangerous for that formula.
There is only one way I can think of that a message can be safely run past the automatic protection ring on this island.
Is there really a chance, Tex?
More than a chance. And it's all thanks to Mrs. Gregory's good sense that they're on board. She's carried them on every cruise we've ever made and trained them constantly. Now they're going to save us all. They'll get that message to Johnson.
Sitting on the porch resting when she first saw him. Not a tall man, a kind of softness about him, and round blue eyes and a round face. A sunburned mustache that drooped and made him look a little sad. He came walking out of the city with the graceful towers rising behind him into a hot blue sky, and for a moment he seemed unreal. Excuse me.
Yes?
I'm looking for a place to stay. There doesn't seem to be many such places here in the city. I noticed your sign.
Oh, yes, the sign.
Excuse me, is anything wrong?
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong, but...
The sign says rooms. You do rent them.
Oh, yes, that's right. Forgive me, I feel fine. I just wasn't myself for a minute. Of course I have a room. 3, in fact. You can have your choice.
Well, that's fine. Let me introduce myself. My name is Vincent Deem.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Deem? I'm sorry, child. Why don't you come in? I'll show you the rooms.
Thank you very much. I'm very anxious to get in out of the sun.
This room's just like the others, Mr. Deem, except for the video set, and there's a health ray over the bed.
Oh, it's very nice, Mrs. Childs.
And the windows are shielded glass, of course.
How much is this room, Mrs. Childs?
A little more than the others. It's 30 credits a month.
I'll take it. Would you like the money now?
If you don't mind.
Oh, not at all. I'm sure I have some here in my pocket. Oh, I forgot.
What's wrong, Mr. Dean?
Oh, nothing. I'm afraid I have nothing but very large bills, that's all. I'll have one changed later today and pay you this evening if that will be satisfactory.
All right. I imagine you want to unpack.
I might as well.
Oh, Mrs. Childs, one more thing. Does the price of 30 credits include meals?
Yes.
Oh, that's fine, thank you. I'm sure I'll enjoy dining with you, and, is it, Mrs. Childs?
Yes, and my husband works at the vitamin plant about a mile from here. He should be home for lunch any minute.
Well, I'll be looking forward to meeting him.
Yes. Well, please excuse me, Mr. Deem.
Why, Mrs. Childs? What's wrong?
Sorry? Got that chow ready?
Oh, David, you're late, dear. I thought you...
Thought what?
David, we have a new boarder.
Oh?
His name is Deem. Vincent Deem. He arrived this morning.
Sorry. Is anything the matter? Is this fellow got you upset?
Oh, David, it's ridiculous, really. He's very polite, but for some reason I can't explain it. He frightens me.
Where is he? I'd like to get a look at him.
He should be here for lunch. I didn't hear him go out.
Well, what's it all about? What upset you?
Well, his clothes, for one thing.
His clothes?
When he came in, he was wearing a black coat with a little black velvet collar, and the sun was so hot. And there were small differences in the things he wears, in the cut of them. Well, they're just not like ours. Only I can't tell you exactly why. It's almost as if he just reached his hand into some ancient refuse bin and just took out the first thing he found.
I wouldn't have believed it.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Here we are, only 3 years from the dawning of the great new technological era of the 21st century, and you're seeing ghosts in old clothes.
Oh, I was afraid you'd laugh.
David went back to work, still laughing to himself. There was nothing wrong with the guy. Sari tried to rest and couldn't. The sun, even through the filtered glass, hurt her eyes. Mr. Deem hadn't come back, but she wanted to get out of the house. So she took the moving sidewalk to the market. Perhaps it was the heat or being in the house too long. Anyway, she spent an hour at the market and felt better by the time she got to the robot checker.
Mrs. Childs, there was a friend of yours in here about an hour ago.
A friend? Well, who was it? Ruth Harris?
No, Mr. Vincent Deem. He wished to write a check and cash it, but I had no record of him in my circuits. He gave you as a reference, and so I cashed the check. I hope that was all right with you.
Yes, Robert, of course.
He was very strange. He wished to know what year it was. I told him 1997. And he seemed happy and surprised.
He asked what year?
Very nice to see you again, Mrs. Childs. Come in often. Next customer, please.
The sun was still beating down, but the street felt cold. As Sari walked home, little hands of coolness seemed to run up and down her back. She went into the house and listened. Couldn't hear a thing, but she knew that he was in the house. He was in the house, and he wanted to know what year it was.
Say, Deem, what line of work are you in?
Insurance.
Good business. In the city?
No, in another city.
Oh.
Are you planning to be here permanently?
Yes, I believe I am. I had to leave that other city. I had some trouble. It was over a woman, but you don't want to hear about that.
Oh, well, go ahead, Mr. Deem. We don't mind, if it'll make you feel any better.
Well, one does have to talk to someone. A woman worked in my office, you see. A very fine woman. I loved her very much. But she was married and had 2 very small children. She knew she had a duty to her children and her husband. There was nothing between us, you understand. Absolutely nothing but deep affection. But her husband, when he found out and we had words, I felt it was better to leave the city. It was very unpleasant.
So, you came here to make a new start?
Yes.
Well, I can understand that, Mr. Deem. Can't you, Sari?
Yes, David, of course I can.
Mr. Deem left the house early the next morning. He said he was going to visit the various insurance companies and see about getting a job. And Sari, left behind in the house, felt like a spy, because she knew she was going to explore his room. She had to know. One by one, she opened the drawers in the bureau. Shirts, handkerchiefs, socks, 2 suits in the closet, and his black overcoat, the suitcase on the floor. Everything seemed to be in order. She tapped the suitcase with her foot, then bent down and opened it. She looked inside.
Operator, Mr. Child, please hurry. Mr. Child, he's in the pyrodoxine department.
Sorry, for Pete's sake. You know I'm up to my neck in work this morning. I had to come all the way over from the bats to answer. Sorry. What's wrong with you? Move up closer to the screen.
David, I looked in his suitcase.
Deem's?
Yes, David, he's got things in it.
Things? Sorry, what exactly are you talking about?
Things in his bag. There's 3 wilted red roses. And a gun. Oh, I've seen pictures of them. I've looked them up in the historical encyclopedia.
Say that again.
A gun. And 3 flowers. Wilted flowers. 3 red roses. At least I think they're roses. Oh, David.
Sorry. Are you sure?
I tell you, I looked it up in the book, David. I looked up the list of all the things destroyed or outlawed during the bombings. I thought I remembered, but I wanted to make sure.
You're right, Sari. I know you're right. There haven't been any guns on the face of the earth since the war. There haven't been any flowers since the war of 1980. Sorry, I don't understand this, but I'll come right home. Stay there, Sari. I'm coming home.
David? David?
Mrs. Childs? Oh, hello, Mrs. Childs. It's a bit cooler out this morning. I thoroughly enjoyed. Mrs. Childs, you're ill. Your face is so white. Mrs. Childs.
Sorry, what in the name of heaven?
Deem. Is that a gun, Mr. Childs? A weapon that can kill you. Come in, please. Sit down over there.
David, I'm sorry. I tried to warn you.
Never mind, darling. Deem, you killed first for us. Sit down. That's better. Where do you come from? From the year 1979. But that's impossible.
No, David. You see the gun in his hand? And the flowers upstairs.
She's quite correct, Mr. Childs. But how could it be? If you check the list in the historical encyclopedia, the record of things destroyed or outlawed after the war of 1990, you will find listed a time warp machine designed in the year 1977 by scientists at the Los Oros Physics Institute. I was the horticulturist in charge of the grounds and gardens. I entered the machine 1 year before the war. They just might risk sending a man after me.
But why did you come to this here? Did you know that you were going to end up here?
No, I lied to you when I said I worked in insurance. But I told you the truth about the woman. She worked in the Physics Institute also, in one of the labs. I hated the man she'd married. I wanted to marry her desperately, but she said she had to stay with him. Then she said she was sorry for me. And so one night, when the moonlight came down, walked unloved and was back in the laboratories, down on the rose gardens that were tended so carefully in the middle of that rocky desert, to give the people working there just a touch of beauty. In the middle of that night, when her husband was working late and she and the little girl stopped by in their automobile to pick him up, I was waiting in the shadow of the building with a gun I had stolen. This gun. I remember seeing their faces, the three of them, white in the moonlight. I raised the gun. The moon struck the barrel like white fire. And I shot. And I shot again. And again. And again. And killed them all.
We invite your special attention to Command Performance, a show of stars created at the request of the United States forces all over the world. Now, usually this program is broadcast only for our servicemen, but tonight it will be made available to civilians. The participants include Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, Dinah Shore, Ethel Waters, and many other stars. It will be a full-hour show. We invite you to hear it over WOR Mutual at 11 o'clock tonight, Eastern Wartime.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Fellows and girls, as you probably know, the Treasury Department has announced a shortage of pennies and nickels. Now, this shortage has been caused by the great number of these coins that you and I have put away in piggy banks and tin cans and glass bottles. Well, saving pennies and nickels is a great idea. It means that we're being thrifty, and the thrift habit is a wonderful thing to acquire. But right now, when we're at war, a shortage of pennies and nickels is a serious thing, because it means that metals vital to the war effort will have to be used to make new ones. And that will result in less of the precious metals needed for the manufacture of guns and tanks and planes and ships. So it's our duty to relieve that shortage by breaking open our penny and nickel banks and putting the coins back into circulation. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't continue to save. No, sir, not by a long shot, because we can turn all our pennies and nickels into war-saving stamps and bonds, which is another way to save, a better way, in fact, for at the end of 10 years, you can redeem your war-saving bonds for the money you put into them, plus a very handsome cash interest the government will pay for borrowing your money. So you see, by turning in all the pennies and nickels you've saved for war-saving stamps and bonds, you perform two services for your country, and you do yourself a favor, too. You relieve the shortage of coins, help your government finance this war through to victory, and still save money for which you're paid a cash interest. Now, don't waste time. If you haven't already done so, get permission from Mother and Dad tonight to break open your coin bank, and then as soon as you can, turn those coins in for war-saving stamps and bonds. And besides that, every time you've got a dime, buy a war-saving stamp. Because, as I've pointed out many times, every dime is important to America's war effort. Just keep in mind this slogan, won't you? A stamp a day will pave the way to victory.
And now, the adventures of Superman. As you remember, in our last episode, we heard how Dr. Cameron's multi-depth submarine, bearing Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and Perry White, together with Dr. Cameron and his crew, was almost wrecked by a giant octopus, encountered miles below the surface of the Atlantic. Thanks to Superman, however, our friends and the submarine were saved from destruction. Later, toward evening, as the submarine lay helpless on the surface, it was rammed and sunk, cut in two, by a tanker. Thanks again to Superman, the lives of our friends were saved, and they were brought by the Man of Steel to the deck of the tanker itself. Finding no one in sight, they went at once to the pilot house of the ship, only to discover that it was empty also. Neither the captain nor any members of his crew was anywhere to be found. Our friends began a search of the ship, and as they entered the dining saloon, they suddenly realized the truth. And a strange and curious truth it was. Listen.
Oh, you actually mean to say that you don't believe there's a soul on board this ship? That it's running without a crew?
Well, draw your own conclusions, Lois. Look, that dinner table is set for 12. The plates are filled with soup. Soup so hot that it almost scalds the tongue. Yet there's no one here.
Well, I grant you that, Kent. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the ship is empty.
No, it doesn't.
Now, wait a minute. Just a few moments ago, we all mentioned an eerie feeling of loneliness about this ship.
Yes?
There was no one in the pilot house, no men on deck, and no one in the captain's quarters. Now we walk into this dining saloon and find places set for 12 plates of hot, steamy soup, and no one here to eat it. Now, maybe you can explain it.
No, I can't. But the captain and crew must be aboard somewhere. Great Scott, Kent. This ship is running, moving along at a fairly good clip.
Well, we'll probably find that our boilers have been stoked and left with the dampers wide open.
By heaven, I hate to agree with you, but I've got a feeling that you're right. Leander, what do you think of all this?
Yes, Dr. Cameron, you know a good deal about the sea. Perhaps you can explain this mystery.
No, indeed. I'm a man of science, an Einstein, as it were, rather than a Sherlock Holmes. This mystery has me completely baffled.
Well, it's a relief to hear you say there's something you can't do.
Nicodemus, I will no longer suffer the slings and arrows of your sarcasm quietly. Another such caustic comment from your lips, and I shall surely strike you on the nose.
You and who else?
Me, sir. I, Leander Euthanasia Cameron.
Okay, just that.
Now, look here, you two. This is no time for such horseplay. This looks serious. Kent, if we're right in assuming there's no one aboard this ship, we've certainly landed ourselves from the frying pan into the fire.
We sure have. Suppose we find out for sure, Chief.
All right.
Before we jump to conclusions, let's look through the ship and see what we can find.
Couldn't we eat first? I suggest, Nicodemus, that we wait until we finish searching the ship. I tell you what, in order to get it all over with as quickly as possible, we'll all take different directions and search different parts of the ship. We'll meet outside the door of the dining saloon in, well, let's say exactly half an hour.
An excellent suggestion, most excellent indeed. I might have made it myself if given time. As a matter of fact, I'm certain it would undoubtedly have occurred to me.
All right. Let's go out on deck.
All right. I'll open the door.
Ooh, gracious, it's awfully damp out here on deck.
Yes, there's a fog coming up.
Yes, it looks like it's going to be a thick one.
In that case, I think we'd better go down into the boiler room, Mr. White, and stop the engines of this ship. No telling what we might run into during a fog.
Good suggestion, Kent.
While we're on our way down, we can search the forward end of the ship. Dr. Cameron, suppose you and your men go aft and see what you can find. Lois, you come with us.
Very good, Kent, and we'll all meet back here outside the dining saloon in half an hour.
If that meets with your approval, Doctor.
I should say, all things considered, we'll be ginger peachy. Come, Nicodemus, come, men, yachts and away.
I've never seen a man like you. You're my boss.
Well, Kent, any idea where the engine room is and how to get to it?
I have a vague idea of how a tanker is laid out. Let's move up the deck. I think we've come to a companionway leading down to the engine room.
The fog is really getting thick now. It's rolling in across the deck in great smoky waves.
Yes, and the quicker we throttle down the engines on this ship, the better. Ah, here we are. Here's the door leading to a companionway. Come on, let's go in.
Now, watch your footing here, Lois. These steps leading down are terribly steep.
Yes, I see. They are. I simply can't understand this. I've been trying to figure out some sensible solution to all this hocus-pocus, but really it's impossible.
Nothing is impossible as a solution, Lord. The most baffling mysteries are sometimes the easiest to see through.
Keep talking, Father Vance. You're going great, so far as talk is concerned.
Will you two stop fencing and keep your eyes and ears open? Well, here we are. Where do you think this corridor leads to, Kent?
Well, the doors on either side must lead to the officers' cabin. Let's have a look.
Huh. Well, if you look at that. Lights on full, but nobody in the cabin.
Everything seems to be in order, too.
Yeah. Let's try the next one.
All right, come on.
Same thing. Light on in the cabin and no one in it. Wait a minute, Clark.
Yes?
What are you staring at, Lois?
Look over there. A bowl of water, a shaving brush standing next to it, and a straight razor. There's a towel lying there, too.
By heavens, Kent, this is beginning to get under my skin. There's soap on that brush, and... Yes, by George, the water in that bowl is warm. Someone was just about to shave when something happened.
Yes, but what?
I'd give a fortune at this moment to know.
Hey, you two.
Yes, Clark?
Here's the companion waiting. The engine room.
All right with you, Kent.
Now this way. Perhaps you better wait here, Lois.
Not on your life.
Okay, come on then. Down these steps. Watch your footing, though. They're steep.
Don't worry about me.
It's the engine room, all right. I can hear the engine.
Uh-huh. Here we are.
How do you stop these engines? Any idea?
No, but there must be some levers to pull or some such thing. Don't see anyone around, do you?
No, kind of so.
Kent, look there. I think those are the levers that you were talking about.
Let's have a look. Yes, this seems to be right. This lever is marked with various speeds from slow to full. It's on slow speed now. I'll just shove it into the spot marked stop and see what happens.
That's it, all right.
Now that we've stopped the ship, aren't we in danger of drifting?
Yes, I think we better get above decks and see if we can drop the anchor.
Well, can we do that alone?
Well, she's a fairly modern ship, yes. The anchor windlass acts on a ratchet mechanism with a catch. All we'll have to do is release the catch, I think.
All right, Kent. Lead the way.
All right, just up these stairs again.
Well, what are you stopping for?
We'll have one last look around. Just can't comprehend all this. An engine room with the engines running, but no one in it. It all looks so curiously deserted. Well, come along.
Well, here's the corridor again. Think we ought to have a look in the cabins that we missed?
Well, later, perhaps. Right now, we better get above decks and drop that anchor.
Okay, Kent. Say, the funny thing about you.
What's that, Chief?
You're a strange mixture. Sometimes you act as if the only thing you had in that body of yours was fear. At other times, such as now, you have a certain commanding manner, a certain way of saying and doing things that commands respect.
I've noticed that myself, Mr. White. Sometimes, Clark, I almost suspect you of being two people.
Aren't we all sometimes? Come on, up these steps here to the deck above. Watch your step, though.
Another thing I've noticed. Every time we start to talk about you, you adroitly change the subject. I'm beginning to think that you're concealing some deep, dark secret about yourself.
Perhaps I am. You never can tell. Maybe I got a police record a mile long.
Oh, don't be silly. Here's the deck. Gracious, that fog has gotten thick.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we drop anchor, there's nothing to guarantee us we won't get rammed.
Well, that's true, but we'll be safer than if we were drifting, so long as we keep a foghorn going. Come on, let's go forward.
This is fantastic. Thoroughly and completely fantastic. Kent, what could have happened to the crew of this ship? Whatever it was, it must have occurred very shortly before Superman brought us aboard. Shortly before we were rammed and sunk.
I don't know. We've solved some pretty puzzling mysteries in our time. I always had the feeling we'd never run into anything more baffling than the tiny men or that business of the statues being broken, but this is something that beats anything I've ever seen before.
We're almost at the prow of the ship, Clark. We can't go much further.
Oh, yes, there's the anchor windlass right up ahead.
It's got this fog is getting thick. We ought to light some riding lights if we can.
Well, that wouldn't do much good. Never be seen in time. As soon as we drop anchor, we'll go back to the pilot house and start blowing the fog whistle. If there's one on board.
I'm sure there must be.
No doubt. Well, here we are. Here's the anchor windlass.
So, can I give you a hand, Kent?
No, Chief, thanks. All I have to do is move the catch on that ratchet. Let's see. Yes, here we are. That does it. Well, our half hour is nearly up. We'd better get back to the dining saloon to meet Dr. Cameron and his men. They'll be wondering what happened. Great heavens! Teddy, both of you. Something's happened. Come on!
Through the fog-bound night, aboard a ship mysteriously empty of captain and crew, comes a strange and terrifying scream. Who screamed? And what could have happened? What can possibly be the answer to this curious and baffling riddle? Be sure to be with us tomorrow for one of the most thrilling adventures of all. And listen every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow the adventures of Superman.
Fellows and girls, don't ever get the idea there's nothing you can do to help win this war. Of course, we can't all be members of Uncle Sam's armed forces because some of us are too young or too old. But that doesn't mean we can't get into this fight. No, sir. Because there's one big important thing we can do. We've got to see that our fighters are supplied with all the bullets and guns and tanks and planes and ships they need to wipe Hitlerism and fascism off the face of the earth. How? By buying all the war-saving stamps and bonds we possibly can. Because every time we buy a war-saving stamp or bond, we lend our government money with which to finance our fight. So remember, talk with Mother and Dad tonight about giving you an extra dime every day or every other day for war-saving stamps. Talk about it with all your friends. Get them to make a pledge with you to buy war-saving stamps regularly.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
This is Mutual.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend the steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Fellows and girls, don't ever get the idea there's nothing you can do to help win this war. Just because you can't join the Army doesn't mean that you can't be part of this big fight to preserve the American way of life. No, sir, not at all. There is one big important thing you can do, and I'm going to tell you about that right now. You see, aside from the fact that we can't all be soldiers, sailors, or Marines because we're too young or too old or something, it's necessary for a good many of us to stay right here where we are. As a matter of fact, Uncle Sam tells us that for every man in the armed forces, there must be 11 people back home to keep them well supplied and see that everything runs smoothly. It's sort of like, well, like a civilian army that cooperates with the armed forces to help win this war. And that's where you come in, you and I. For we're all members of the civilian army, and the best way we can help our boys at the front is to buy war-saving stamps and bonds, and buy them regularly. How does that help? Well, let me tell you. It helps our government to finance this war. It helps to buy guns and tanks and planes and all the other things the Army, Navy, and Marines need to knock out the Japs and the Nazis. Now, there's one other way we can all cooperate in America's war effort, and that, as I've mentioned before, is to put back into circulation the pennies and nickels we've been saving in piggy banks and tin cans and glass jars. That'll prevent the necessity for making more pennies and nickels and will save the metals used in their manufacture for vital war materials, such as guns and tanks and planes needed by our armed forces to win this war. So, if you haven't already done so, get permission tonight from Mother and Dad to empty your coin banks and then take these coins and turn them in for war-saving stamps and bonds. And in that way, you'll be doing your country a double service. A stamp a day will pave the way to victory.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Weird and baffling is the adventure in which our friends now find themselves. As you remember, the submarine in which they were searching for the lost continent of Atlantis was rammed and sunk by a tanker in the mid-Atlantic. Later, they were plucked from the icy waters and brought safely aboard the tanker by Superman. It was then that their adventure really began, for they discovered that although the ship was running at slow speed, there was not a soul aboard her. The ship was completely deserted. Entering the dining saloon, they found a dinner set for 12, with soup still steaming in the plates. When later, after searching the ship,
they'd returned to the dining saloon, they found the captain of the vessel sitting at the head of the table. The captain was dead. Shortly after this, as they were discussing this weird circumstance, another very strange thing happened. Listen.
Well, one thing is certain, there's not a soul aboard this ship.
Except for that dead captain sitting in that chair at the head of the table.
Yeah, I've been wondering. Do you think he might have been killed whilst we were aboard the ship?
What do you mean, Nicodemus?
Well, you remember when this here tanker rammed and sank us, she sounded 3 warning blasts on her whistle.
Yes?
Well, now, somebody must have pulled the cord to sound off that blast.
Unless the ship is haunted.
Oh, nonsense, Jim. There are no such things as ghosts. The very idea of ghosts haunting a ship or anything else is ridiculous.
Listen, Clark. What's that?
Well, that's the foghorn on this ship. Somebody's blowing the foghorn. But there's nobody aboard the ship.
Well, there must be. Someone is certainly sounding that foghorn. Come on.
Where to, Kent?
To the pilot house. That's where the foghorn is located. Whoever's sounding it must be there. Nicodemus.
Yes?
You stay here with the captain. I'm taking no chances on his body disappearing or anything else strange happening in this dining saloon.
Now, just a minute, Kent, just a minute. I ain't taking orders from you.
You'll take orders from me or I'll pitch you over the side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, everybody. Come on. You too, Jim.
You bet I'm coming. Why, Clark, I'm amazed at you.
All right. Along the deck here. Pilot house is just up ahead. What? What did you mean, Lois?
The way you spoke to Nicodemus. You acted like someone who's used to giving commands and being obeyed. It doesn't check with the things I know about you. Yeah, Miss Lane is right.
Oh, well, occasionally I forget myself.
Yes, I suppose that's it.
And here are the steps to the pilot house. Too late. Scott, that foghorn sure was loud.
Oh, of course. It's just above us.
Golly, let's get up there. There must be somebody blowing that foghorn.
I'm sure of it. Come on. Careful, Jim.
Easy, Lois.
All right, here's the door to the cabin.
Well, open it and go in.
All right.
Holy mackerel. What in the name of heaven is that?
Stand back, all of you.
Clark, is it human?
Well, I don't really know.
It looks like a man. An old man. Dressed entirely in seaweed.
That's it. He's covered all over with seaweed. But his face is dead, tasty white. Ooh.
All right now, friend. Just let go of that foghorn handle. Let go, I said. Don't like
let me take a hand on this, Ken. All right, you. Get your hands off that handle. Here, help me, Doc. We just have to force him away from us. Look out.
Golly. Nice work, Mr. White. That's the old hunter.
Well, punch, Chief. He's out cold.
Mr. White. Clark. What in the world is the meaning of this strange thing?
It's a man, Lois. A very old man. Dressed in seaweed from head to foot. He's evidently crazy.
Undoubtedly.
It looks like something horrible that's just crawled out of the sea. But I thought there wasn't another soul on this ship beside ourselves.
Well, obviously we were wrong. Finding this strange old creature sounding the foghorn doesn't simplify the mystery. Who is he? What's he doing here?
It's you and me.
Oh, he's so awful looking. He's beginning to move. He's coming too.
Kent, what do you think we ought to do with him?
Well, he's dangerous. We'd better tie him up.
Yeah? Well, with what?
I think our handkerchiefs will do. Jimmy, let me have yours, will you?
All right.
Mr. White?
Here you are.
I have one, Clark.
All right, Lois, thanks. Now, let's see here. There. Now, Chief, you take these two and knot them together good, will you?
Yeah, I will.
And tie his ankles.
All right.
I'll tie his wrists with these.
All right.
Look. Ooh, he's opened his eyes.
Lois, what?
His eyes are so malevolent, so full of hate, viciousness. He's not laughing anymore. Just lying there, glaring at us.
I'll hold his hands. How about it, Chief?
Well, his ankles are tied securely.
Good.
He'll never get out of that woodman's knot.
I'll say he won't.
Well, what do we do with him now?
Let's leave him here for the time being. I just had an idea.
Yes, Clark?
It just occurred to me if there's an answer to this mystery anywhere, it ought to be in the captain's log.
The log? Of course, Kent. I never thought of that.
The captain's cabin is right through that door there. Suppose we go in and have a look for the log.
Yeah, come on. No sooner said than done.
Where would the log be?
Well, in his desk, I should say. Let's have a look.
Well, nothing here on top.
I'll try this drawer here. Don't see anything that looks like a log.
Wait a minute. Look, I think this is it here.
Let's have a look.
There. Isn't that it?
Let's see. Today is December. Now, here we are. The last entry. What time is it?
Let's see. According to my wristwatch, it's exactly 10 minutes past 8.
This entry is dated today, and the time noted is 6:15. That's less than 2 hours ago.
Golly. Well, what's it say, Mr. Kent?
Here, I'll read it to you. Aboard the Albatross, bound east for Liverpool. I am about to join my officers in the dining saloon for our evening meal. But before I do so, I deem it wise to put down in writing the things that have happened to us aboard this ship this day. To recount my fears so that those who find us will know what horrible thing it was that finally did us in.
Golly, apparently he knew something was going to happen. He was afraid. So amazing to think that he wrote that less than 2 hours ago.
Yeah. We've been aboard this ship, the Albatross, about an hour and a half. Whatever happened took place within half an hour after he wrote that. Go on, Ken.
Huh? Oh, it goes on here. The day was quite uneventful until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Strong, the first mate, came to me and said that he had seen the old man of the Seaweed crawl aboard ship at the taffrail.
What?
He was genuinely frightened, I could see that, and I tried to calm his fears. The old man of the Seaweed is, of course, nothing but a superstition, and I certainly do not believe that...
Clark, that look on your face, what's the matter? What is it?
The pen sort of scrawls along here, as if it had slipped it. That... Great heavens.
Golly, Mr. Kent, what is it?
Yes, Clark, for heaven's sake.
Listen to this. As I've been writing this, I've had the feeling that someone was watching me. This very moment, I looked up, and standing before me in the doorway is the old man of the Seaweed. I cannot understand this. I've never believed in this legend of the sea. I've never believed in the harm this old man can do. But at this very moment, he is moving toward me, laughing quietly, but horribly.
Holy smokes.
Well, go on.
That's all. The log ends right there.
Oh, but what does it mean?
Yes, Ken. What happened here after he wrote that?
Well, the answer seems pretty obvious. The captain was killed by the old man of the Seaweed.
But gosh, Mr. Kent, who is the old man of the Seaweed?
That man out there, that demented creature we just tied up.
Now, wait a minute, Kent. Let's be sensible. In the log, the captain tells us the first mate saw that man out there crawling out of the sea.
That's right.
That just isn't possible.
Of course, Clark. This is absolutely fantastic.
I wonder. Suppose we just go over what's happened to us in the last 2 hours. Our submarine was rammed and sunk by this tanker.
Yes.
The tanker blew 3 warning blasts before it sank us.
Right.
Superman brought us safely aboard, and then we discovered that the ship was running without a crew.
Don't forget, when we went down into the dining saloon, we found places set for 12 and no one there. And the soup in the plates was hot.
I'm not forgetting that, Lois.
And then later on, when we came back to the dining saloon after searching the ship, we found the captain sitting at the head of the table, dead.
Right. Golly, all this happened before I got here. That's right, Jimmy. And whatever's happened since, you know about. All right, Clark, we've gone over the situation thoroughly. You gave me the impression after we've done that you'd be able to offer some explanation for all this mystery.
Oh, sorry, Lois. I didn't mean to do exactly that. I was just trying to recall what's happened in the last 2 hours to find a clue if possible, but I can't. Oh, you're right. This is a fantastic business. I suggest we go into the pilot house again and try to get something out of the old man of the Seaweed.
Oh, but he's crazy, Kent. I don't think he'll be able to tell us anything.
Well, you never know. Come on.
There he is, lying on the floor. Looks like just a bundle of seaweed.
Yeah, seems to have passed out again.
Well, we'll soon wake him up. All right, friend, step out of it. Come on now. What in the world?
Clark, what's the matter?
I went to pick him up with the collar, and look.
Good heavens, I can't believe it.
Mr. Kent, you're just holding a big bunch of seaweed in your hand. There's no man there at all.
Has there ever been a mystery as strange and baffling as this? Maybe you figured out the answer. But in any case, be sure to tune in tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow the adventures of Superman. Did you ever stop to think why American machine gun crews make such good scores in their battles against the Jap and Nazi hordes? Their teamwork, their super marksmanship comes from practice.
Practice every day until they can hit the bullseye practically every time. But that much practice eats up a lot of bullets. And that's just where you come in. You buy bullets for machine gunners every time you buy war stamps. 5 bullets for every 10-cent stamp. Get behind your team by buying stamps just as often as you can. Can you think of anything more exciting to buy for your dime than 5 .45 caliber bullets? 5 bullets for American soldiers to use in protecting your home from Jap or Nazi hordes. Get going, fellas and girls. Get your stamps today and every day.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is directed by George Lothar and is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. This is Mutual.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invite you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett. Hey, Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
Roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett. Space Cadet. High over the Atom City spaceport, a huge blast-pitted field surrounded by ramps and conical metal buildings, a tiny ball of flame glows softly in the sky. As it grows larger, the blasting of powerful rockets is heard, and finally leaping tongues of flame reach down to ease a great passenger spaceship to the landing ramp. As the hatches are thrown open, 2 young men in the uniforms of space cadets dash into the ship. Moments later, they step into a small private compartment and snap to attention before a middle-aged man wearing only a robe and slippers.
Space Cadets Tom Corbett and Roger Manning, reporting for duty, sir.
You were sent by Commander Arkwright?
Yes, sir.
Very well. Whose uniform am I to wear?
Mine, sir.
Oh, yes. I see we're the same size. Very well, Cadet Manning, let's get to it. We haven't much time.
Right, sir.
Oh, my suit is there on the bunk. I believe it'll fit you quite well.
Yes, sir. I beg your pardon, sir. I know cadets aren't supposed to ask questions, but, well, we'd sure like to know what this is all about.
You mean, Commander Arkwright hasn't told you?
Not a word. Here's the blouse, sir.
Oh, thank you.
All we were told was to meet you here on this ship, and Roger was to give you his uniform. And then we were to escort you back to Commander Arkwright's office at Space Academy.
Wait a minute. You're escorting me now. That's right. Now, since this may be a dangerous ride, it doesn't seem fair that you shouldn't know why you are risking your lives.
We're what?
Yes. You especially, Cadet Manning, since you're temporarily impersonating me. You see, I'm Barton Reed, a special messenger from the government of Venus. You've been there, undoubtedly.
Oh, sure. Practically a ferry run for us.
Then you know it's an important part of the Solar Alliance. We are now in grave danger.
From what?
I'm not at liberty to tell you that. But I have come to get help from the Solar Guard. And so far, there have been 2 attempts to assassinate me since I left Venus.
By somebody on this ship?
Yes. But I've been unable to find out who it is. That's why I made these arrangements with Commander Arkwright.
Wow, he sure hands us some juicy assignments.
What difference does it make? We can handle it. I'm glad you feel so confident, Manning. After all, once we leave the ship, you will be the target.
Oh?
Very well. I'm ready to leave. How do I look?
Fine, sir. Just like a space cadet. You ready, Roger?
Yeah, for just about anything.
I don't understand it. Commander Arkwright said he'd be waiting for us right here in his office.
Hey, look at this panel. It's smashed. The teleceiver is out of commission.
What? Something's rotten at Space Academy.
Yeah, Commander Arkwright missing. Now this. Roger, you stay here with Mr. Reed. Don't let him out of your sight. I'm going to Central Security and alert the guard. Don't let anybody in. I'll be right back.
Oh, sit down, Manning. You're making me nervous pacing back and forth like that.
I can't help it, sir. I'm worried. Tom's already been gone 15 minutes. He should have been back long ago.
Now, do you want to go look for your friend?
I think I should. Something's happening around here, and I want to find out what.
Well, don't hesitate on my account. I can take care of myself.
No, blast it, I can't do it. My job is to deliver you to Commander Arkwright and all in one piece.
As it appears now, you may not be able to do that. So I suggest you at least alert the guard.
Yeah, I guess I'd better. But I'll only be gone a minute. In the meantime, don't let anybody in.
Great screaming Saturn, my head. Feels like it's got 16 moons revolving around it. What happened anyway, Roger?
You'll have to answer that, Tom. When you didn't come back to the office, I started looking for you. I found you in a heap here in this corner.
Yeah, but I don't remember anything. I was on my way to Central Security. Then something hit me like a ton of bricks, and I blacked out.
You were slugged from behind. You've got a big lump on your head.
Jumping Jupiter. Mr. Reed, you left him alone.
Well, I had to when you didn't...
Skip it. We've got to get back to Commander Arkwright's office. If anything happens to Barton Reed, you and I are finished at Space Academy. We're too late, Roger. Barton Reed is dead. He was blasted by a heat ray.
A heat ray? But that's been outlawed for almost a century.
It makes no difference when you're committing murder.
Oh, brother, are we in a spot now? We were supposed to guard him, get him here alive. We might as well hand in our resignations right now.
Listen, let's figure this out. You traded clothes with him, so you'd be the target.
That sure didn't pan out.
Which means the killer knew you and Reed made the switch.
How could he?
He must have been on the ship. Must have been close enough to see Reed in your uniform when we debarked.
Maybe.
And remember, Reed told us there were 2 attempts to assassinate him during the flight from Venus.
All right, you don't have to spell it out for me. The killer was on that flight, but where is he now? It's a cinch we can't track down every name on that passenger manifest.
Of course not. But since his job is done now, there'd be no reason for him to stay on Earth. He'd head straight back to Venus, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he might at that.
And if I remember right, the ship that brought Reed here is headed back into space tonight. Back to Venus.
You want to go aboard her?
Why not?
Well, how can we do it?
The written orders to meet Barton Reed, the ones Commander Arkwright gave us, they were general orders, giving us clearance wherever we wanted to go.
Great jumping Jupiter. You want to use them?
Why not? What can we lose now?
Tom, my boy, you're getting more like me every day. Let me get a new uniform. We either catch a killer or a court-martial.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spaceman, if you want to be a good Space Cadet, you've got to know your ship. And that's why the cadets take special courses in spaceship maintenance. You know, I went down to the spaceport repair shop one day and got Tom Corbett to tell me all about it.
Hi there. I'm changing a set of steering vanes in this rocket cruiser. The heat of the exhaust burns them out after a while, so they've got to be changed pretty often. You know, besides keeping these rocket ships in trim, the cadets have to keep themselves in trim, too. That's why we make sure we get lots of exercise, fresh air, rest, and good food. And say, tops with me in that good food division is Kellogg's Pep. I need vitamins just like everybody else. And a serving of Kellogg's Pep gives me a whole day's supply of vitamin D. Pep gives you vitamin B1, too, besides other food values you need to build up strong muscles. And you get all these important food values in a cereal that tastes better than anything you ever tasted. So do yourself a favor, spaceman. Start each day with a big bowl full of Kellogg's Pep. You'll like it.
Well, you heard what Tom Corbett has to say about Kellogg's Pep, Spaceman. But you just wait till you taste that delicious, malty-rich Pep flavor Tom was talking about. You won't need anybody to tell you the best-tasting cereal ever is Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
assigned to escort Barton Reed, a special messenger from Venus to Space Academy, Tom Corbett and Roger Manning are tricked, and Reed is killed while under their charge. Taking a desperate chance, the cadets set out to find the actual killer. Now aboard a passenger spaceship bound for Titan, Tom meets Roger in their compartment.
I just checked in with the captain on control deck, Roger. He okayed our credentials and our orders. That hurdle is over.
We're on the right ship, aren't we?
Yep, straight out to Venus with a stop at Luna.
Good. Now, what about the passenger list?
Well, I got that, too. Here.
You've checked 3 names.
Right. Each one of those 3 was a passenger on the flight that brought Reed to Earth.
Alexandra Stone, compartment 3, B-deck. The woman in the case. Hey, that's for me.
Cool your jets, son. This is a business trip.
Yeah, monkey business. Let's see. Number 213, York Phillips, compartment 6, B-deck.
And number 315 is Nelson Deegan, compartment 3, A-deck.
With a name like that, he's got to be the space rat. Well, what happens next?
We wait. I've asked the flight stewards to let every passenger know why we're aboard. I figure that should make our criminal come to us.
Oh, sure, with a heat ray in his fist. Of all that space-happy ideas.
Hey, somebody wants in. Maybe it's our man.
Get ready for trouble.
Come in.
Excuse me. I'm looking for Space Cadets Corbett and Manning.
You're looking at him.
Oh. Well, my name is Nelson Deegan. A few minutes ago, I overheard one of the stewards mention the fact that you were looking for someone. A murderer, to be exact.
What? How in blazes did they know? Roger, have you been shooting off your mouth again?
Oh, me?
Just as well that he did. I can help you. I believe the person you're looking for is aboard this ship.
Yeah? Who is it?
Alexandra Stone. That is the name you're going to give them, isn't it, Deegan?
Hey, pipe the space dolls, huh?
Pardon the intrusion. But I also overheard the stewardess, and I knew Deegan would try to accuse me.
I see, and I suppose you want to return the compliment, Miss Stone. You will say Mr. Deegan committed the murder?
Yes, and what's more, I can prove it.
Well, thank you very much, both of you, but I'm afraid you can't help us. You see, we already know who killed Barton Reed.
You what?
How could you?
I can't tell you any more than that. We'll be ready to make an arrest before we reach Venus.
But why not take him now if you know?
We need absolute proof, Miss Stone. There's a security agent on the spaceship now getting it. So, thanks again, and if you don't mind, we have a lot more work to do.
Oh, very well.
You'll let me know as soon as you make the arrest, won't you?
Oh, sure. You'll know, all right.
Thank you.
Now, Sherlock, would you mind telling me what that song and dance was about?
Well, one of those 2 was lying. Just came here fishing, trying to find out how much we knew.
Well, what about the other character that was on the passenger list, York Phillips?
Oh, I'm not forgetting him.
We'll probably hear from him sooner or later. Oh, getting stuffy in here, isn't it? Yeah. Crew must be doping off, not keeping any fresh air. Circulating makes me sleepy. Hey, you smell anything? No, can't say. Can't say that I do. Get tired all of a sudden. Gotta lie down. Get some sleep.
Oh, no. Roger, snap out of it. Narco gas. Putting us to sleep. Roger. Roger, wake up. Come on, snap out of it.
What?
Wake up, will you?
Oh, my head feels like it's full of cotton wool.
Yeah, I'm kind of groggy, too. But shake those cobwebs, will you, fast?
What happened, anyhow? Last I remember, I was so awfully sleepy.
It was narco gas. Fed through the compartment ventilators.
Great galaxy, how long do you suppose we've been asleep?
I don't know. I'm going to ring the control deck and find out right now.
Control deck, Flight Officer Burton.
This is Cadet Corbett in compartment 4A deck. Have we touched down at Luna yet?
Don't give me that space junk, Cadet. You don't know where we are. You ought to be washed out of astrogation school.
I'm sorry, sir, but we fell asleep.
Right on the job, huh? Well, for your information, we left the moon an hour ago.
An hour?
Yeah. Is there anything else, Flash?
Yes. Will you check the passenger manifest? Did Alexandra Stone, York Phillips, or Nestor Deegan leave the ship at Luna?
I thought it was your business to know. York Phillips left the ship.
Oh, thank you. Well, it looks like Phillips is our man. He fed us the gas and beat it.
Yeah, but we've still got to get him. Before he loses himself on Luna, it transfers into another ship.
And how are we going to do that? Jump out of the airlock and swim for it?
No, we're going to borrow the jet boat and head for Luna.
this is it. Room 415. Our last chance to find Phillips. We've combed every hotel in this crummy town.
Last chance is right.
Nobody home. Want to walk in?
Well, we've come this far.
After you, Alphonse. Jumping Jupiter. Look, Tom, lying on the floor.
Yeah, and there's no doubt about what happened. That heat ray again.
I wonder if it's Phillips.
Well, he must have a passport or credentials of some kind. Now, let's see. Roger, look. This card in his wallet.
York Phillips. Solar Alliance Security Division. Tom, an undercover man.
And I thought I was kidding when I told... By the rings of Saturn, Alexandra Stone and Nestor Deegan. It must have been one of them.
You mean he or she KO'd us with that narco gas, then left the ship at Lunaport and blasted Phillips?
Sure, there was time. The ship laid over for almost 2 hours.
Well, that adds up, but we're left high and dry, and the killer is on the way to Venus.
Well, there's only one thing to do. We've got to catch up with that ship again.
Oh, brother, we're sure working these orders overtime. Let's see if we can thumb a ride at the Solar Guard destroyer base.
Cadets, are you ready?
All set, Lieutenant Martin.
Then stand by at the airlock. We're ready to couple on to the passenger spaceship. The skipper's waiting to take you aboard.
Thanks for slamming us out of here so fast, sir. You were really burning those jets.
Oh, it's not difficult to catch one of those passenger ships. Ready at the airlock now. Remember, you will hear a steady series of signals until the pressure equalizes. Then you can cross over to the other ship. And spaceman's luck to you, boys.
I don't get it, Tom. Since we came aboard, we've covered just about every deck on this ship, and not a sign of the Stone Doll.
Well, there's still the power deck. Come on, down this companionway.
If Deegan's harmed her, so help me, I'll turn him inside out.
Well, funny we haven't been able to catch up to him. He certainly can't move as fast as we can.
If he's still carrying her, he may have stuffed her in a locker somewhere.
Well, that's a cheerful idea. Hey, wait a minute.
You see him?
I don't know. But that locker down there is partly open.
So what?
Lockers are supposed to be secured during flight, or everything will come flying out during acceleration or deceleration. Come on, we better check it.
Jumping Jupiter, maybe I was right after all.
The right idea, Roger, but the wrong person.
Look, Deegan. Well, what do you know? The space doll packs a wallop. He's out cold.
But not from any wallop. He's been given a whiff of narco gas and stuffed into the locker.
What?
Come on, let's try to wake him up. All right, Deegan. Snap out of it.
He's starting to open his eyes.
That's it, pal. Get on the ball. Come on.
Take it easy, Tom. You'll knock him cold again.
Corbett, man,
What happened to you, Deegan?
Where's Alexandra Stone?
the bomb. The RDX bomb.
What are you talking about?
She left the bomb on the ship, on the power deck gallery.
She what? But that's crazy. She'll blow herself up with it.
No, she's trying to escape in a jet boat. She told me.
Where is the bomb, Deegan?
Somewhere on the power deck gallery. That's all I know. You've got to find it, or this whole ship will be blasted into dust. We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spaceman, if you want to start out tomorrow morning with a whistle and a smile, you just hustle on down to the breakfast table and do what the Space Cadets do. Open up a package of Kellogg's Pep and shake out a bowl full of good eating. You say Jumping Jupiter. This is a real spaceman cereal, and you won't be wrong either, because the Space Cadets go for Kellogg's Pep in a big way. You know, besides being a top-notcher for flavor, Kellogg's Pep gives you plenty of fuel for a real energy send-off in the morning. When you rocket off to school or out to play, Kellogg's Pep helps you to travel at full space speed. Pep gives you the help of vitamin D and vitamin B1, too. And you get other important food values. Food values that help you to build up strong bones, strong teeth, strong muscle. Ask your mom to set you up with Kellogg's Pep every morning. Then you'll be starting out like Tom, Astro, and Roger. And whether you're heading out to Saturn's rings or down to school for a ball game with your pals, you'll be on the ball all the way with Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Finding Deegan unconscious in one of the space lockers near the power deck of the passenger ship, Tom and Roger realize that Alexandra Stone is the killer they have been looking for. But when Deegan regains consciousness, He warns them that the girl has planted a bomb somewhere on the power deck gallery. Now, racing against time, the two cadets circle the gallery in a desperate search for the bomb.
We'll never find it before it blows up, Tom. It could be any place on the gallery. That RDX is like putty. It could be shaped so we wouldn't recognize it.
RDX has to be exploded by some kind of electrical detonator. We'll check every power outlet up here.
Attention power deck. Attention power deck. Stop all rockets. Crews take emergency stations on jet port deck.
Looks like Deegan contacted the skipper, all right.
Yeah, I hope the passengers and crew can abandon ship in time.
What about us?
We're going to find that bomb. Roger, look. That power outlet.
Huh? Oh, yeah, there's a cable running from it.
Yeah, at least behind this girder. I found it, Roger. Here's the bomb.
Yowie, let me have that cable. I'll pull it out.
No!
Huh?
Explode the bomb. Detonators are rigged that way sometimes. The blast if contact is broken.
What if we don't pull that plug? It'll explode anyhow.
Maybe we still have time. We've got to chance it anyhow.
Time for what?
To get the bomb outside in space. Let it blast there.
And how are we going to do that? You haven't enough cable.
We'll make a live splash. Have 50 feet for the cable. Then carry it to the power deck emergency hatch over there and dump it over. You get the spacesuit for me, Roger, and I'll get the cable. Move fast!
How are you doing, Tom?
Be all set as soon as I make this last connection. There. Okay, now. Pull the plug on the short length of cable.
You sure this will work?
I've plugged the long length in the power outlet in the airlock and hooked it to the detonator terminals. It should work. Go on.
Okay.
It worked. The bomb is still alive.
But we won't be for long. Let's get it outside of the ship.
Okay. Give me that spacesuit.
Oh, no. Here's where I take over, Junior.
Now, look, Roger.
You look, Tom. See? Suit's on already, and here goes a helmet.
Now, hand me that bomb. Okay, pal. And spaceman's locked.
Yeah, what do you want, Tom?
The outer airlock portal opens. Just push the bomb out into space. It'll drift to the end of the cable.
Okay, I got you. But I sure wish the pressure in here would equalize. I don't like the idea of holding a live bomb in my hand.
Can't say I blame you, pal.
Okay, pressure's equal. The outer portal's opening.
Push out the bomb. Wait.
Here it goes.
Now, close the portal.
Right.
Roger. Come in. Roger.
Corbett, they caught Alexandra Stone. She's locked in one of the jet boat airlocks. She couldn't get away.
That's great. Blast it. When's this airlock going to open?
What's the trouble? Corbett, you're white as a sheet.
Blood is still in the airlock. I heard the explosion, but he hasn't checked in. And I can't get into the airlock until the pressure is equalized.
There, you can get into the airlock now.
The portal's opening.
Hiya, Junior.
Roger, you okay?
Sure, you weren't worried, were you? The bomb exploded clear of the ship. No damage at all.
Except to my nerve.
Now, let's get after that stone doll.
We don't have to, Roger. She's a prisoner in the jet boat airlock.
Well, and all our worries are over.
Not yet, Roger. We still have to find out why Barton Reed was murdered and what's happening on Venus.
Oh, great. More trouble. We stick out our necks again.
What's the matter, Roger? You worried? Oh, you don't want to live forever, do you?
That's just the trouble. The way you operate, I won't get the chance.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Thursday, when he and Roger Manning land on Venus and find danger in Part 2 of The Atmosphere of Death. Tune in, same time, same station on Thursday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal. Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast are Jan Merlin, Peter Capell, Maurice Tarplin, and Elspeth Eric. Today's program was written by Elwood Hoffman, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran, it has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran, it has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious Golden Crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal all in one box. And no other raisin bran but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are somewhere in the Pacific, out of Leyte in the Philippines, charting a course of south by southeast, when out of the deep of the sea, a new volcano is born, and your ship is caught in the middle of it, from which there is no escape.
Listen now as Escape brings you Vincent McHugh's story, The Boiling Sea.
It should have been an easy trip. It was the spring of 45. The war was almost over, and what few Japs were left that far south didn't figure to give us any trouble. I was first mate of the Hopi Victory, hauling cargo with the landings in the Philippines. For this trip, we detoured south to the tiny island of Caravurti in the Moluccas to pick up a detachment of Rangers, a demolition team, and bring them up to Samar. We cleared for the north about 18:30 hours, and as darkness fell, I went out on deck. There I found Lieutenant Drury, the Ranger CO, and his staff sergeant watching Gamkamura, the volcano, over on the island.
Hi, McCallum.
Evening, mate.
Quite a sight, isn't it?
Sure is, but it'll get better. We passed closer to it off Tenati. In the dark, you can see the lava spouting like 4th of July.
We got a look at a small one back on Cazaruti. Inactive. This whole group of islands on both sides of the strait is volcanic, you tell me.
That's right.
Hey, you can have my share of them. That big baby there used to keep us awake nights, rumbling.
Well, they aren't exactly conducive to peace of mind, I'll admit, Sergeant, but they're very interesting. I'd like a chance to study one more closely.
No, not for me, Lieutenant.
Well, probably won't get another chance now. The men all comfortable, Sergeant?
Well, it ain't the Queen Mary, sir, but they're okay.
Sorry. This baby wasn't meant for troop transport.
No matter. We're used to improvising. Well, night, gentlemen.
Night, sir.
Drury. Nice guy.
The best. One of them guys with principles. Serious. You know, educated. Them kind usually get clobbered first thing. But he's come through. Plenty.
You have a time back there in Cazaruti?
Not much. Jap radio station. Half starved out already. Of course, they put up a fight. They always do. But not so bad. Hey, look at that thing. Belching smoke a mile high. Flashing like...
Yeah. Spectacular, all right.
Hey, Lieutenant, could I interest you in a human scalp tanned with mangrove bark? Got me a couple of extra back there. Sell one cheap.
No, thanks, Sergeant. I got one scalp. I hope that'll last me the run. That night, for the first time since we left home, I couldn't get to sleep. I tried reading a while and gave that up, too. Finally, I got a cup of coffee and took one up to Hannigan on the bridge.
Hey, thanks, Mac. Just what I needed.
We sipped our coffee quietly. The bosun stood silently at the wheel. The time was 04:25 hours. We were steaming up through the Molucca Passage. Course 1 degree true, speed 18 knots. A smooth, gentle swell. The phosphorescence in the bow wash was bright enough to show our hands and faces. It was peaceful.
Hey, Mac, you smell anything?
Coffee?
Bob, come here, stand over here.
Yeah, a little sulfur and something that smells like wet dust.
That's what I thought, too, sir.
Well, couldn't it... Say, isn't there a volcano over there in Halmahera where you might be getting a little land breeze?
Yeah, but we passed it an hour back. I'll take it. I got him.
You guys spitting over the side up there?
What's the matter, Brown?
I just happened to notice my intake water's heating up.
How much?
Well, it's supposed to be about 25 degrees centigrade around here. It's 29 now. We're pulling sludge, too. Looks like pumice.
Okay. Guess you better call the captain, Hannigan. Smell that, Captain?
Yes. You checked the ship, Mr. McCallum?
Yes, sir. Boyd and Foreman went over it, too. Nothing wrong.
Yes. Well, stop the engines.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hannigan, you checked our position?
Yes, Captain. It's verified here on the chart.
Sonic depth finder on, Mr. Grange?
Yes, sir. Turned it on right away. Reads 1143 fathoms.
Let's see here. This is where we are, about 35 miles west of Gambaki and Halmahera. Nautical miles, that is.
Yes, sir.
Now, over here, you see, less than 3 miles northwest, you've got a Vijaya. Somebody reported a shoal there once. Hasn't been found again since. Might be anywhere in the general vicinity. You see here, it's marked 18 fathoms.
E.G. Existence doubtful.
Reported February 1871. Well, if there is something there, it can't be anything but a submarine mountain. Not with those depths all around it.
Yes, probably volcanic. One of those buggers that push up, and sink back down again. Got some of them up in the Bonies. But all we've got to go on is this old captain that came through here in 1871. Probably a whaler. Didn't care where he was, so long as he had his foot on the fish.
You think he could have got his bearings in Halmahera?
Can't tell, I suppose.
Now, here's this old fellow dawdling through here in February. Northwest monsoon at its height. Fairly good winds, mostly north or west to north. Current sets about 2 knots with the wind, so if he's out in his reckoning, you see, it's probably because he's farther over to the south and east than he thought. Like this.
Mm-hmm. That puts us pretty close to the trouble. We can't go up to the southeast because we don't know how far out he was.
If he was out. Now, here, we could go this way, but it seems foolish to backtack on our course and then go west to get clear. Don't see why we wouldn't be safe if we cut across the angle to the southwest.
Sounds right to me, Captain.
Yes, sir, should be safe enough.
Well, let's hope so. Mr. Grange, stand by the depth finder and sing out if you get any shoaling.
Yes, sir.
The ship was at dawn GQ, and the engine stopped. An eerie ocean silence hung over everything. It was still dark, but a soft glimmer was beginning to show behind the peaks on Halmahera.
Start the engines, half speed.
Yes, sir, half speed.
The returning pulse of the engines, like a reviving heartbeat, seemed to bring the ship back to life.
Give her about 225.
225. Up high Victory began to gather way, turning. The bosun got her around, met her, and settled on course. Hannigan stood by the bridge front. For minutes we stood quietly, watching and waiting. Now there was a rosy smear in the east behind us, a gloaming on the sea. I could just make out the bow and a man silhouetted in the crow's nest above us.
Hannigan. Right, Brownie. Engine room says 32 degrees centigrade, Captain.
Up 3 degrees.
Yeah. Stay on the phone, Mr. Hannigan. Report any change. In another few minutes, we'll be able to see a little more.
Captain, man in the crow's nest. He's waving.
Captain, thermometer reads 38 fathoms.
Rock stead ahead. Full left rudder.
Full left rudder.
We could see it now, not 500 yards ahead. Nothing in a nightmare had ever been so awful as that jagged, rocky crest hunching and lifting like the back of a great dawn lizard in the yellow light. It came fuming out of the sea, slimy with the first mud of creation. The slow swell pitched up on it. We could feel its deep, grumbling roar through the noise of the engines. The ship was turning now. No one spoke. We stared with slow understanding of the horror that began to form in all our minds. The monster was not a single peak. The ridge we'd seen coming up in the southwest was extending itself in a long curve of points and benches all across the south.
Keep it turning. Keep it turning.
But it was already too late. Clear across the red-pink wash of dawn, a black spur joined onto the east. And when we looked north, the swell was looking up on a jag of new rock that thickened to the west and hooked on down into the southwest. The Hopi Victory was completely encircled. We were trapped in the middle of an emerging volcano.
You are listening to The Boiling Sea, tonight's presentation of Escape. Keep the family intact this holiday weekend by driving safely. Observe speed laws. Stay on your side of the road and don't try to save time at the risk of losing a lifetime. Driving's more relaxed, more fun that way, and safer, too. And now back to Escape and the second act of The Boiling Sea.
A few seconds for the full impact of the situation to hit us. Encircled, trapped in a crater of jagged, rising peaks on every quarter of the compass. Still, nobody said anything until Captain Hazard spoke in a quiet voice.
All right. Stop the engine.
Then we all knew. The wash dropped away and the Hopi Victory settled, floating dead in a fuming black-brown lake that bubbled like mud coming to a boil. The terrible, stony rumbling jarred up through the soles of our shoes.
Well, I got you fellas into this.
Oh, no, Cap, you did the best you could.
How could anyone know where an uncharted mountain would come up out of the sea?
Hannigan.
I don't want to get you fellas too excited up there, but you better quit smoking. We're getting 68 degrees centigrade on this thing. Got the eggs somewhat boiled? What is going on up there?
Brownie, we're in a volcano.
Well, I always told you something like this would happen. You know, you gotta watch where you're going.
68 degrees centigrade, sir.
Well, Jonah made it.
Yeah, we don't know. Maybe there's a hole in it somewhere. We can wait till it settles down. Get the boats out.
Yes, by golly. Gave me an idea, Mr. McCallum. If we do a good job of surveying, maybe they'll forgive us for getting into it in the first place.
No one mentioned the chance that we might never get out. We lived in the crater of a mountain in eruption. It was still working and thrusting, but its force had begun to die down. In the west and southwest, its highest peaks were maybe 50, 60 feet above the sea. In the north and northwest, much lower, we could see the swell breaking over it in places.
Mr. Hannigan, you will check and recheck the position?
Yes, Captain.
Mr. Grandjean, you will take bearings and measurements of the rim, starting at 0 degrees and working all around the compass.
Yes, sir.
Mr. McCallum, you will pass the word that we're going to try getting out of here just as soon as the first shock is over. Don't want them to think we're not doing anything.
Yes, sir.
Might let the people down in the engine room know, and the gun crew, and tell Lieutenant Drury and his rangers.
Yes, sir.
All right? Thank you, gentlemen.
I carried the message to the other officers. Men were hanging over the rail looking at the dead fish in the putrid water. Everybody was coughing. Sickly gases came up in spurts and slow blobs. Here and there a small geyser pattered down stones and mud on the water. There was a wash of gloomy sun on the crags to the west. Beyond lay the glimmer of the Molucca Passage, like the hope of life itself. It seemed very distant now. At breakfast, the captain was still cheerful.
All right, gentlemen, we may as well eat. May not have another chance for a while.
What do you think, sir?
Well, looks as if the first one is about over. We'll get the boats out after breakfast. See if we can't find a hole in it. Just a Western omelet for me, mess.
What if we can't do that, sir?
Maybe we can find a place to get the boats across. Isn't far to Halmahera, you know, about 36 miles, but I'd hate to... Wish I knew more about how these volcanoes behave. It might sink down again in an hour or two, or it might keep building up.
Could I make a suggestion, Captain Hazard?
Yes, go ahead, Lieutenant Drury.
My boys are trained in demolition work. If we can find the right place, I think we might be able to blast a hole big enough for the ship to get through.
Yes, thank you, Lieutenant. Yes, we've been thinking the same thing. Only trouble is, a blast like that might set the whole business off. I suppose we'd better wait till we've tried everything else first.
We take the boats out right after breakfast, sir?
Yes, Mr. McCallum. You will take one and go north to the rim. Follow it to the east. Mr. Hannigan will take the other south and follow it west. Lieutenant Drury, a detail of your rangers can go in each boat.
What about communications, sir?
Yeah. Too bad we don't have radios in the boats. We'll have to use flare guns. One flare if you find a hole big enough for the ship. Confirm it with a handlet. Then 2 flares to command. The usual recall signal.
Yes, sir.
Well, gentlemen, we're in God's hands now.
50 yards, sir.
These are in slowly, bosun, right into the rocks.
Yes, sir.
Take a look at that water, Mac. You ever see anything like it? Slimy, gas bubbling up.
Not very inviting. Take a look at what's ahead, Lieutenant.
Yeah. Doesn't look like any rock I've ever seen before. There's something monstrous, something tortured about it.
Yeah. It's all yours, Lieutenant.
Ready, Sergeant Votar?
Ready, sir.
Easy, bosun. All right, Alden. Steady.
All right, you guys. Go! Okay.
Good. Now hand over the picks. Get specimens of the rock. Votar, you going up the top and check.
Yes.
This doesn't look very promising.
No, it's only 20 feet high, but we haven't got enough explosives to blast through here. Must be gaps somewhere.
There's Votar on top.
Votar! Can you see anything?
About 40 feet across.
Any breaks to the east?
Can't see any. Can't tell for sure, though.
All right. Come back. We'll go down farther.
We cruised slowly along the rim through the dirty, brown-black simmering water, stopping every few hundred yards to break off specimens of rock. It was hot. We felt as if our bodies were drenched in a heated grease. The crater had a general downhill trend to the eastward. In the northeast sector, it came to what appeared to its lowest point. Here, the swell broke clear across the shallow peak.
This is the best place for blasting we've seen yet.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad. Might be possible.
Let me take 4 of my men on those rocks and try to find some likely openings for charges, just in case.
Okay. Move in close again, bosun. Listen, Drury. Those rocks are wet, and that swell has plenty of power. Watch yourselves.
Don't worry about us, matey. We don't mind wet feet.
Uh-huh. Set her easy, bosun.
Okay, boys, over we go. Come on, get the lead out.
All right, men. Spring out. Look for traps.
I'll hold her off, bosun. You stand by with the line secured, ready to toss them just in case.
How about this, mate? You think we'll have to try it?
Last resort? I don't know, Walt. Looks like maybe, unless Hannigan found something, we should have.
I don't know. Blasting in this stuff is like lighting a firecracker in a dynamite factory.
We may have to take the chance.
Yeah. Look back there toward the ship. A dirty yellow guck. We ought to break out the gas mask if we had gas mask.
What was that? An explosion, sir. Underneath us. The whole thing's going up.
No, it's sinking. Look, the men, they're sinking. Drop the line, bosun. Hurry, heave. Drury, grab the line. Get your men on it. We'll pull you in. That's it. Pass it on, all of you. Hurry. All right. They're all on. Heave. Bring them in. Heave. Fast as you can. Heave.
Okay, here's Drury.
Heave. Get them in. Hurry. Come on, Drury. Come on. The whole thing's moving. Keep heaving.
Both off. Where's both off?
Got him right there. Come on, up. Heave. Out of heaven. Keep pulling, man. Keep pulling. All right, here's the next one.
Better be quiet with that 3.
All right, coming easier now. Here's another.
That's Langley. 4.
Come on, fella, grab, huh?
One more. Look.
All right, get quick so we can get out of here. The line's coming too fast. Hang on, Trouble. Where's Trouble? Wait, Lieutenant. Stop him, Walt.
Hold it, Drury. You can't do it.
Trouble's still in there. You can't go back in without a line. Tie it around his waist wall.
I'm going to.
All right, but tie him to that line. Then we'll be able to haul you back.
They went over the side, disappearing into the murk on the sludgy water. The sharks were increasing in violence now. They jabbed their teeth in our heads. We looked toward the ship and saw the western rim of the crater thrusting up in a great wall behind it. Then Walt's head appeared close to the boat, his face black, and he shook a hopeless no. He dived again 2 or 3 times and then let us pull him in. But Drury wouldn't give up.
Come on, pull him in. He's fighting us. Well, fight him back and get him into this boat. Yes, sir. Here, I'll give you a hand.
Let me go. We've got to get Trouble. Let me go.
You can't waste any more time. Get in. It's no use, Drury.
He's in there somewhere. We can't just let him stay there.
Man, no. Come on. All right, Wilson, take her off.
McCollum.
I'm sorry about Trouble, Lieutenant, but he is one man. There are 100 men back there in the hope by victory.
Yeah. Sorry. It's getting worse every minute. If we're going to do anything, we got to do it fast.
Hey, look. Over there where the rock sank. That gap's big enough for the ship?
Yeah, maybe. But is it deep enough?
It's got to be. The whole thing may go up any minute like a Roman camp.
All right. Bosun, fire one flare. Walt, get the hand lead.
I've got it. Call coil.
Don't heave a drag at 10 fathoms. We'll quarter across the gap. Sing out if you feel anything. The boat moved slowly across the old edge of the crater and out into the open sea. Walt, holding the lead line, shook his head at me. He felt nothing. I turned carefully in the swell and quartered back into the crater. I could see the Hope by Victory creeping toward us. She'd recalled Hannigan's boat and was dragging ahead of her in a narrow S-curve. They were like vessels under shell fire. The whole center of the crater was writhing with smoke and erupting masses of mud and stone. I could see rocks falling on the deck. Behind the ship, the western crags now jutted 300 feet high, lifting and working in black agony. The ship was coming on fast. We were the last chance. You feel anything, Walt?
Nothing. Can they make it, sir?
They've got to. Fire 2 flares. And we'll stand out to sea and make a target for them.
They better hurry. This thing's about to blow its top.
All right, here, too, Bosun. We'll stand here.
You'll never make it. That gap's too small.
We're tight squeeze. The captain's got it perfectly centered.
Yeah, well, he'd better. He's coming full speed. If he misses...
Hannigan's through. Another minute, we'll know. Men, if they crash, we'll have to work fast.
Less the shock is enough to set the whole thing off.
Here they come. The swell's breaking on the bow.
He's not flanking Spade, and it's too small. It's too small.
They're in. She's coming through. She's coming through.
Hey!
We're not out of the ship.
Hey, he's not cutting his speed.
He's not going to leave us here. Calm down. He's standing between the 2 boats. He'll get us on one side and Hannigan on the other.
Captain signaling from the bridge.
Bosun, give her full speed. Give her everything you got. Parallel his course.
Blast the kiss, Bob. And hang on. We'll pick you up later.
You heard him. Both our dory, Walt. Help me get that line well thrown down and don't miss.
Right.
Here they are. Both steady against the bow wash, Bosun. Over to the alongside. All right, here comes the line. Got it. Break fast. Hurry before we lose the sight. And make it good and fast. Give it a rush, Bosun. Follow it. We're fast.
Brother, just in time.
All right, Bosun. You cut the engine. We're on the top.
Man. So we ain't gonna sleep on a bed of coals tonight.
Brother, I ain't never felt anything so good as the pull on that line.
20 knots, full speed. Pulling us away fast. Maybe 2 miles already.
Can't be too fast for me.
Look at that thing, will you? It's an inferno.
Yeah, sure. Look! Look!
All of it. The whole thing.
It did blow its top.
Walt, help the bosun with the tiller. Hold her in. Grab the gas rod, Drury. Help me knot her back as far as we can. And stay down, everybody. Stay down. There's a wave coming. A tidal wave.
Look at it.
Come on, pull. Now hold. All right, get down, everybody. Keep down.
We thought we were safe. 50, 60, maybe 100 feet. We'll take the whole ship.
Get down and hang on, then. Here it comes. Here it comes. Look out!
Everybody all right? I don't know how, but we're all right, Mac.
That wave had lifted us to the level of the rail of the Hopi Victory. But a seismic wave does not crest an open sea, so it came as one great smooth swell that lifted us high and passed and let us swoop back down again. A few minutes later, the ship picked us up, and we all paused to look back at the emblem of fire we left behind us.
Well, I guess maybe the captain was right. We must have been in the hands of God. All except trouble.
Yeah. All except trouble. Well, Lieutenant, you wanted to study a volcano close to?
Did I? Well, remind me, Votor, to cross that study off my list.
Escape, produced and directed by David Friedkin and Morton Fine, has brought you The Boiling Sea, a story by Vincent McHugh, and adapted for radio by John Dunkel. Featured in the cast were Ted DeCorsia, Herb Butterfield, Harry Bartell, Herb Ellis, and Tony Barrett. Also heard were Jack Moyles, Clayton Post, and Jim Hayward. Your announcer, Bill Anders. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are stranded with a carnival just this side of the Iron Curtain, when out of nowhere a fortune is within your grasp, riding a number on a roulette wheel hundreds of feet high. While at your shoulder, laughing at you, a killer clown from whom there is no escape.
So listen next week when Escape brings you David Friedkin and Morton Fine's story, Carnival in Vienna. Stay tuned now for Night Watch, which follows immediately over most of these stations. There's comedy with My Little Margie, Sunday nights on the CBS Radio Network.
Wheat checks, rice checks, and good, hot Lawson presents Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol. In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy are in a magnetic tunnel car. A tunnel car in a mine shaft deep below the surface of the planet Venus. As they rise toward ground level, Happy prepares the weapons they hope will enable them to rescue Tonga from two criminals.
2 ray guns each. That ought to be enough.
We'll have to be careful. We can't give them a chance to harm Tonga.
It'll be dark in an hour or so. Then we can sneak up on them. What was that?
Explosion. Tractor has blown up the entrance to the tunnel.
We're sealed in.
Well, brace yourself. Our tunnel car is going to crash.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, The Caverns of Venus.
Space Patrol!
A cyclone? Just Johnny Jones rushing out the door to the grocery. Gang, he just heard there's a swell surprise inside of every new package of checks.
Man.
Johnny's found the surprise.
A magic space picture. Wowee.
Wowee is right. Gang, with a magic space picture, you can have the time of your life. First, you stare at the mysterious picture. What is it? Who is it? It's hard to tell. But then you look up at the sky or at a wall, and suddenly...
Jumping Jupiter. I can see a flying saucer in the sky. Gosh, this picture really is magic.
Magic and how? Why, with magic space pictures, you can see all kinds of objects floating in space. Objects so big and clear, you'll think they're real. Flying saucer, rocket ship, planet Saturn, Buzz Corey, Cadet Happy. These are just a few of the magic space pictures. Altogether, there are 24, all different. And you get one inside of every new package of checks. So start selecting the whole set of 24 magic space pictures today. Look for the packages of rice checks and wheat checks with Buzz Corey or Cadet Happy on the outside and the magic space picture on the inside. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, The Caverns of Venus. Buzz Corey and Cadet Happy, aboard their space battle cruiser Terra 5, are en route to the planet Mars to see Tonga, who's been in the Mars capital, Lowell City, for several weeks. Under orders from Major Robertson, he's been investigating repeated disappearances of critical materials from government and private manufacturing plants. At this moment, the commander is briefing Happy on their procedure for contacting Tonga.
Tonga's code message didn't give us much information, Happy. However, she seems to have uncovered a clue on how the robberies are being committed.
Where do we meet her, Commander?
There's a small science library on a side street in Lowell City, used by engineers and other technical workers. At 1700 hours Universal Star Time, Tonga will be in the number 4 microfilm projection room.
That sounds like a nice, quiet place. I'm really anxious to hear what Tonga's found.
We'll know in an hour or so, Happy. Contact Lowell City Space Control for landing procedure.
Right, sir. Cadet Happy aboard Terra 5 calling Space Control, Lowell City, Mars. Cadet Happy aboard Terra 5 calling Space Control,
Yeah, Dutton. This is their apartment. Try the door. It's locked.
Yeah. This electronic key will open it. We'll have to work fast. We may come back any minute. Close the door. Okay, Wharton, get busy. Look through the desk. I'll search the belts and drawers. Open it.
Well, personally, I don't think the girl's a Space Patrol agent at all.
Oh, you don't, huh? Well, she's only been working at the electronics plant for 3 weeks. And she wanders all over the factory, into every section.
That's just a gadabout. Get out, some women are. Maybe she's just ambitious. Wants to advance.
Well, she's too ambitious to suit me. Yeah. Look at this.
What is it?
Notes on various employees of the plant. Just listen to this. Hastings frequently left to leave his section after work. Drives expensive service car.
Maybe she's got a crush on Hastings. Yeah. Anyway, let her watch him. Hastings isn't one of our men.
Here's a sketch of the shipping room and a schedule of the departure path.
Well, there still isn't much to worry about. She can't find out how he operates.
Maybe not. But I will have to watch her from now on. Come on, let's get out of here.
All right.
Hey, wait a minute. Look at this.
It's just a pill?
Yeah. Look at it closely.
These are being pills.
That's right.
We'd better take it before she has it analyzed.
How do we know this is the only one she has? If she finds out there is chemical in these tablets which will give a person a partial lapse of memory.
No, we smuggle things out of the factory.
We can't take any more chances. Find her, trail her. And the first chance we get, we'll fix her so she won't cause any.
Yeah. The projection room 4, Doctor. The microfilm projector room.
Yeah. She must have the lights off if she's running the machine.
I know where the switch is.
Good. Open the door and turn the lights on quickly.
Come in. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. This room isn't used.
Yeah, we know. Have the door working. I'll turn off this projector.
What's the meaning of this? Get out of here right away or I'll call the attendant.
The attendant is locked in the cloakroom. There is no one else in the library.
I don't know who you are, but I've seen this other man at the factory. I'll report him to the superintendent.
You won't report anything to anybody. You've done your last bit of spying.
What are you talking about?
What are you holding behind your back? Come on. Let's have a look. Here, hold it.
Let go of me.
It's an envelope. Addressed to Commander Corey of the Space Patrol.
What's in it, Doctor?
A copy of the papers we found in her apartment. In the security department, chemist's report. On the anti-radiation page. She's listed 2 grains of amezabine among the ingredients. His comment is enough to cause temporary and partial lapse of memory for a period of 1 hour.
Lucky you followed her here.
Come on. We'll take her out to the back door to our surface car.
Why not finish her off here?
Not a bad idea. There's nobody in the building.
Take your hands off me.
There's no use struggling, sister. All right, let's go of her. It's Corey. Get him. If he's right on Morton, I'll get him with this chair.
Commander, look out!
Now, told. Now let's finish the boat.
No. Corey may have somebody outside. Get those papers and let's get out of here through the back door.
Right.
Commander.
We've got to stop him.
Commander, somebody locked the attendant in. Tongo, what's happened?
2 men knocked the commander out. They ran out the rear door.
Are you all right, Commander?
Yes.
They took the evidence I had for
A
them.
little bit more. Meanwhile, we know who we're after. Let's get to Lowell City headquarters and send out an alarm. We'll put guards. And this fellow Wharton worked at the electronics plant. Huh?
That's right, Commander. That's who I've never seen before. Oh, it's the intercom.
I'll get him. Colonel Carter's office. Commander Corey here. Oh, I'll take the message. I see. Well, good work, Major. Thanks. This is Major Blake, making a complete check of the electronics plant. The employees you mentioned will be brought in for questioning.
I'm afraid that won't do much good, Commander.
Oh, yes, the amezabine. Well, Dr. Ryan explained it to me. The amezabine doesn't interfere with a person's ability to carry out routine tasks. If he's told to do some apparently harmless act, he'll do it. An hour or so later, he'll have forgotten it.
Oh, then it's no wonder Draxler and Wharton's gang could get away with thousands of credits worth of equipment and materials. They had perfectly honest people doing their dirty work.
What made you suspect the pills in the first place, Commander?
It took a lot of little incidents before I really got to wondering. Once I misplaced a test meter. One of the girls said I put it on a bench.
Mm-hmm.
I was certain I hadn't. But there it was. I had no recollection of putting it there. Later, I noticed other people forgetting things. All of a sudden, it occurred to me that in every case, he'd been given an anti-radiation tablet.
Commander.
Oh, yes, Happy.
The duty officer just got a report from the captain of the spaceport guard.
About Bratcher and Wharton?
Well, no, sir, at least not directly. But they've traced some stolen equipment to a small robot cargo ship at the port.
Have the guards removed the equipment?
No, sir, they're standing by for orders.
That's a break. Now maybe we can find out how Bratcher and Wharton disposed of these stolen supplies.
How, Commander?
We're going to put a miniature spacerphone tracer transmitter in that ship. By keeping spacerphone fixes on it, you'll know where it is from the minute it blasts off till it lands. Come on, Happy, let's get to the space.
There's no one around the ship, sir.
Okay, Happy, let's get aboard quickly.
It's dark enough at this part of the field.
Don't flash your atomic light, Happy. One of Bratcher's gang may be watching. Got the transmitter?
Right here, sir.
Come on.
Maybe they won't take a chance of blasting off this robot ship, Commander.
I think they will. I want to get this evidence out of the way. Open the hatch, Happy. Wait till I close the hatch before you turn on your atomic light.
Yes, sir. Where we put the tracer transmitter, sir?
Up in the control compartment. We'll conceal it just in case someone comes aboard before blast-off.
They must not be planning to blast off right away. Space Control Tower hasn't been notified.
Let's take a look at this cargo section, Happy. I'd like to see what's in here so we can identify it later.
All right, Commander.
Shine your light around.
Wow. This hold is really loaded.
Look at this stuff. There's a fortune of equipment in here.
And stolen by people who didn't even realize what they were doing.
Whoever loaded this robot ship knew what they were doing all right.
Hey, how did that passageway door close?
Slam shut. Open it, Happy, and prop it open until we finish inspecting this hole.
It's stuck.
Here, I'll give you a hand. That's locked.
Somebody slammed it on. I didn't hear anybody out there.
Yeah, it tripped an automatic mechanism. Electronic beam.
Well, how are we going to get out? Hey, Commander, hang on. The ship's blasting off.
So we'll find out where the ship's going sooner than we expected. You're lucky we got that tracer transmitter.
Yeah.
You can send a distress signal. Turn it on, Happy.
Sir, I haven't got the transmitter.
What?
I left it in the forward compartment, and it isn't even turned on.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. How does he do it, gang? He sees flying saucers in the sky. He sees a robot man on the wall. He sees the planet Saturn floating in the clouds.
You bet I do. And sometimes, up there in space, I see a rocket ship or a speeding jet car.
Gang, how does he do it? What magic power does this boy have?
No magic power to it. Magic space pictures. That's my secret.
Yes, sir, gang. That's the secret. Magic space pictures. And with these wonderful pictures, you can see flying saucers and robot men in the sky, too. You can even see pictures of Tonga in the sky and Major Robertson and Carol. Pictures so big and clear, they practically look real.
It's fun, gang, and it's easy. You just stare at the magic space picture. Look up into the sky and zowie! The magic goes to work. There in the sky, you see the magic space picture, real big and real clear.
There are 24 different magic space pictures, and you get one inside of every new package of checks. So start collecting these wonderful magic space pictures now.
Swap them with your pals. Be the first one in your gang to have a whole set of 24.
Just get the new packages of rice checks and wheat checks with Buzz Corey and Cadet Happy on the outside and the amazing magic space picture on the inside. And now back to our Space Patrol adventure, the Caverns of Venus. Buzz and Happy entered a robot spaceship at a Lowell City spaceport on the planet Mars to install a tracer spaceophone transmitter. In this way, Buzz hoped to learn the destination of the ship being used by a gang of thieves to transport stolen equipment. But Happy left the transmitter outside a cargo hold. While they were inspecting the stolen loot, the door slammed shut, locking them in the hold. Then the robot ship blasted off, leaving the unwilling passengers with no way to summon help. For hours now, Buzz and Happy have been trying vainly to force open the heavy metal door.
Happy, notice the deceleration?
Yes. We're going to land. It's about time. We must be nearly to Pluto.
It hasn't been as long as it seems, huh?
That was a bad break, my leaving the transmitter outside the hold. I've got to get into a fine mess.
Well, it wasn't your fault the door slammed shut.
But, sir, nobody knows where we are. We don't even know.
Well, we know this much. When that door opens, we're going to be in for a nice battle with whoever's going to unload this stuff.
Commander, I just thought of something. What if we land on a moon without air? The men will be wearing spacesuits. We'll be finished.
If there is an atmosphere, we stand a fighting chance. Get your ray gun ready, Hap. The ship's landing.
Commander, aren't they going to open that door? We've been sitting here for an hour.
Maybe they just wanted to get the ship off Mars.
Yeah, and just leave it sit here on, well, wherever we are.
It's a very cheerful thought, but it's a possibility.
Sure, we can't stand this much longer. The oxygen must be just about all gone as it is. I'm getting kind of sleepy.
Try to stay awake, Hap. When that door opens, you've got to be ready to give a good account of yourself.
Yeah. I'll do my best. I have to sleep either. I don't...
Happy. Happy, wake up. Hap, don't go...
Isn't that touching? Both of them sound.
The ray guns in their hands. It's lucky I forced the sleeping gas under the door.
Now, what are we doing?
We'll take them to the stone house and lock them out. And they wait. We'll find out how much the Space Patrol knows about us.
Then what?
We'll wait to see if this robot ship has been trailed. If not, we'll know we're safe here on Venus.
If the ship were being followed, whoever it was would be here by now.
Let's play it safe. You're cut. I want to produce Corey alive. I'll carry Corey. You take the cadet.
Okay, Doctor. That's heavier than he looks.
Corey's no lightweight either. All right, let's get going. What was that?
I guess I kicked one of their Carmelites rolled over there somewhere in the dock.
Take it easy going down that ladder. Come on. Come on, Corey. Wake up.
You're through, Cadet. You've had a nice long nap. Snap out of it.
Hey, what's the big idea?
Leave him alone.
So Corey's away. Now we can talk.
Ratcher and Wharton.
That's right. Our meeting in the library on Mars was somewhat brief, but I see you managed to catch our names.
Too bad that girl spy of yours isn't along, Corey. It can make a nice reunion.
She's back in Lowell City getting information on you guys that'll fix your rockets for good.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Now tell us, what information does she have? Come on, let's have it.
Oh, you and the cadet better speak up. You're a long way from help. Where are we? We're on Venus. A very rugged, remote part of Venus. That tells us a lot.
Well, it doesn't matter. But since you're so curious, do you know the Gorbeton Mountain region?
Yes.
You're right in the heart of that range, near the old tungsten mine.
This is your chief hideout, I suppose. It's more than that. This rock house is only a part of our merchandising venture.
Yeah. Quite a bit of it is underground. We got thousands upon thousands of credits worth of equipment stored away in the lower levels of the mine shaft.
Enough food and water to last us for years, along with a supply of weapons. All set to stand a siege.
It's necessary. However, I don't think that situation will arise. You see, Wharton and I are the only ones who know you're here.
How did you get off Mars? You weren't in the robot ship, were you?
No. We managed to get a ship belonging to a member of my organization. We controlled the robot ship from there.
One of our men saw you get aboard, and Spacer phoned us the information.
Mm-hmm. Now that we've been so free with our information, suppose you tell us what...
What? Thought I heard a spaceship.
I don't hear anything.
Guess I'm getting jumpy.
Yeah. All right, Corey. Just what information does the Space Patrol have about Wharton and me?
You're wasting your time, Dracula.
I have plenty of time. Sorry I can't say the same for you. Perhaps a few hours or days without food and water will loosen your tongue. Come on, Wharton. Let's leave our guests alone for a while.
I'm sure hungry.
Try not to think about it, Happy.
Yes, I wish there was some way to break out of this place. The walls are a foot thick.
If I could be sure where Dratcher and Wharton are, we might try the window.
We better do it before we get too weak.
So the glass won't break.
We could pry the lock loose, but there's nothing to pry with. I've looked. There's not even anything under the bed, if you can call that hunk of junk a bed.
The bed? That's it.
Huh? Well, how can we pry it with a bed?
Got a steel frame, Happy. We can work the bolts loose. We can use one side of the frame as a crowbar.
It's great, Commander.
Let's get to work. It's going to be a tight squeeze getting through the window, but as soon as you hit the ground, head for Dratcher's spaceship.
Right. Well, at least we've got one break. Hey, these bolts are loose. Looks like we won't have any trouble with
it. Well, Corey may not be ready to talk yet, but I'll bet that Cadet's getting mighty hungry.
What you ought to do is separate them. We could probably work on the Cadet if the commander wasn't there to bolster his courage.
You may have something, Wharton. It's worth a try. We'll go to the stone house and take the Cadet out to our shack.
Gotcha. Look, they're out. They're running for your ship.
Quick, cut them off.
Hurry, Happy. Into the ship.
They're cutting us off. They've got ray guns, too, sir.
Head the other way toward the mountain.
Yes, sir.
We'll hide till it's dark.
Let him go. Why waste our breath running? What are they going to do out there in the mountains? There's no food or water.
Yeah, you're right, Captain. They'll come crawling back in a few hours.
Well, if they don't, we can save ourselves a nasty job.
We've got to keep watching those spaceships.
Yeah, we'll take turns. Wharton, just keep walking and don't turn your head.
Doesn't matter.
You did hear his spaceship after all.
That old girl has come here.
Huh? She's hiding around the corner of the shack.
Huh?
Yeah. Right on. Pretend we're going to walk right past the shack. Okay. So, why shouldn't we take 10,000 credits now when we can get twice that much by waiting a few weeks? Oh, yeah, Doctor. But on the other hand, we could use a little ready cash. Well, I'm not saying we can, but... Take the brake on this. Oh, we said drop it. Hold still and you won't get hurt. Made a very bad mistake by coming here, Tonga.
What have you done with Commander Corey and Happy?
They aren't around right now. But I think they'll be back before long. And they get a look at our...
Guess they aren't coming after us.
No. We'll wait till dark and try to surprise them.
Rest a minute. They're standing down there by the shack. I can... Hey, Commander, looks like there's somebody with them. Smoking rockets, Commander. It's Tonga. How did she get here? You just pop out of the ground?
What did here is a spaceship, after all. Must have landed on the other side of the mountain.
We can't leave Tonga with those two rats. What do we do now?
Wait a minute. Thatcher said there were food and weapons down in the mine shafts.
Hey, that's right.
It must be an opening up there. 200 yards. Come on.
We're in luck. The tunnel car. But it looks like there's no power.
Magnetic car. Self-contained power unit. You can zip down the shaft and come back with food and ray guns. Get in, Hap.
Hey, this thing's just like a miniature spaceship.
Only much simpler to operate. Shut the door and shove off. Here we go.
I locked the controls of the robot ship and my space cruiser, Tonga, in case Corey and the cadet tried to pull a fast one.
They'll find a way to get you.
Yeah? Well, I found something, too, in the robot ship. This miniature spaceophone transmitter. So that's how you traced us there.
Not entirely. When the commander and Happy didn't come back from the Lowell City spaceport, I blasted off on the trajectory that Space Control said the robot ship was on. I didn't hear the tracer signal until the robot ship had landed.
What? Wharton must have kicked it on and he dragged the cadet out of the ship.
Second.
We got a problem. Wharton, I told you to go over the mountains and smash the controls of Tonga's ship so Corey can blast off.
He's not going over the mountains. He's going under. Corey and the cadet have gone down in the mine.
What?
They've taken the tunnel car. They'll be back up here in a few minutes with weapons of their own.
We got to stop them.
How can we?
Get some cosmic detonators and close out the opening.
No, you can't do that.
I'll watch the go. Hurry. Let the tunnel...
Two ray guns apiece. That ought to be enough.
We'll wait till dark and sneak up on them.
There's the entrance up ahead. What was that? Commander, look out, up ahead. Stop!
The tunnel's caved in. Brace yourself. We're going to crash.
Wow.
Are you all right, Happy?
I just bumped my head a little, but I'm okay.
They've blown up the tunnel entrance. There's tons of rock between us and the surface.
How are we going to get out?
Get out of the tunnel car, Happy. Bring the Tom alive. Hey, shine your light over there. Seems to be a small side passage this side of the cave-in.
That's funny. I didn't notice that passageway when we came in.
Let's have a look.
You can't leave them down there in that shack. You can't.
And just how would you suggest we go about getting them out?
For this.
Watch the girl.
No, you don't. I'll take both of you.
Oh, you will, huh? Ira, we can't watch her all the time.
All right, right here, Wharton.
Hold him up.
Look out, Commander.
Take care of Wharton, Happy.
Well, Wharton won't bother us for a while, Commander.
That's enough, Danny.
Get up. Have the guns, Happy?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Commander and Happy. I thought they had this sealed in the mine.
No, we found a passage leading to a small opening several hundred yards up the slope.
Another opening. I didn't know there was one.
The explosion must have opened up an old passageway in the mine.
Yeah, that just shows you, Dratcher. You don't know your own mind.
We'll be back in just a moment with a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yes, sir, gang, there's 24 different Magic Space pictures. And Buzz Corey wants you to have all of them, just like real Space Patrollers do.
There's 3 of Buzz Corey, and they're all different.
There's 2 of Cadet Happy.
And 2 of Tonga.
There's a magic space picture of Buzz Corey's insignia.
And the Space Patrol badge.
There's a space liner pilot.
A picture of Major Robertson.
A jet car.
A flying saucer.
A rocket ship.
A planet Saturn.
A space pirate.
The Deadly Iron Fist.
And all kinds of other magic space pictures.
They work real easy, gang. First, you stare at the mysterious picture.
What is it? Who is it? You can't tell.
Then, you look up at the sky or at a wall.
And hocus pocus, the magic goes to work. You see a giant space picture floating in the sky.
And it's so big and clear, it almost looks like a real object or person. Fun, man oh man.
So, gang, start now. Collect all 24 of the magic space pictures. There's only one place to get them, and that's inside of every new package of checks. So look for the new packages of rice checks and wheat checks, with Buzz Corey or Cadet Happy on the outside and the swell magic space picture on the inside. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are exploring a deserted city on the planet Saturn. As they enter a room filled with precious gems, a stealthy figure slinks to the door and aims a ray gun at them.
Look out, Commander. He's got a ray gun. He's firing.
Quick, Cap, run down that passage. Keep going. He's right behind us. It's dark in here. He won't be able to see us.
Uh-oh. Commander, it's a dead-end passage. We're trapped.
Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story of Forgotten City, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again bring you Space Patrol!
Boys and girls, this is your commander with a vital message. Answer the call of the helpless by giving like a real space patroller to the 1953 American Red Cross Fund.
Space Patrol, an original Mike Moser production starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Glenn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Nina Berra, Bela Kovach, Ken Mayer, and Stephen Robertson. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again present the new exciting Space Patrol! Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This transcribed program came to you from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.